You have entered the Chronic's rabbit hole. And Chronicans, welcome to or welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyle, aka Chronic, and I am very excited to finish off episode 3 of the Burning Sun scandal. Rotten Mango does such good work. Stephanie is a world-class journalist. And for episode 3, it is titled Burning Sun's K-pop idols released from prison. Now trying to make a comeback and open a new club. The audacity. And after very recently checking out episode 2, I am very eagerly, I wouldn't say excited, but anticipating how this all ends and what really unfolds. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope your day is going blessed. And if it is, make sure to hit that like button so it continues to stay blessed. Let's get into episode 3 of the Rotten Mango's Burning Sun scandal. Goo Hara's story in episode 2 really moved me, especially towards the end when you finally hear her calling in. I believe her name was Park Hyo-sil, the journalist who she helped with all that information to help really blow this Burning Sun scandal open. Get to see how their future unfolds. But if you've been following along, we've already seen how idols like Seungri, Jung Joon-young, and others weren't just involved in the club. They're also a part of a system that drugged, abused, filmed, and trafficked women for powerful investors. These are not rumors. This is all confirmed, and it shook the industry to its core. Now, in the last episode, we're diving into the aftermath because, yeah, some of these guys are already out of prison and trying to make comebacks. Some are even planning to open new clubs. After everything they did, they still got a second chance? It's unreal. We also can't forget the real cost. Goo Hara, who was directly connected to this scandal, spoke out and paid a heartbreaking price. And Park Hyo-sil, the brave journalist who held onto key evidence for 3 years before finally blowing the case open, she too faces a tragic end that we're going to learn more about in this episode. So this reaction isn't just about the crimes. It's about the system that protects abusers, the silent victims are forced into, and the people who had the courage to speak up and paid the ultimate price for it. Let's get into Rotten Mango's final episode and close out this story the right way. And again, thank you so much for spending time with me. This is a long video alone without me reacting to it. So the patience you guys bring, make sure you have a drink and some snacks to get through it with me. And if you like these reactions, please hit the subscribe button because we have a bunch more Rotten Mango reactions coming out. Now that I have finally caught up with this K-pop scandal, I am jumping to the P. Diddy trial that is live and well going right now. As we know, Stephanie is part of the journalism that's allowed to go into these courts. So I think that is really cool, but we're staying into the Burning Sun scandal right now. So let's check out how this finishes, y'all. This is a long video, so if there is any information that I missed that you want to make sure that I received it and stored in my body, please comment below anything that passes me and just any context you want to add to the reflections that you had throughout this whole series and how excited you are for Enter the Chronic to continue Rotten Mango reactions here. Okay, here we go. This is Burning Sun's K-pop idols released from prison, now trying to make a comeback and start their own club.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Something very strange happened in Gangnam, South Korea. Something very puzzling for the investigators involved. They received a call that a safe had been stolen from a recently deceased person's home. The police show up to investigate. They check the house's CCTV cameras and, yeah, sure enough, a masked man with a hat on is seen breaking into the house. But it's not that simple. They end up leaving with this small safe. But the strangest part initially in all of this is the man, before he even breaks into the house through the second floor balcony, he walks up to the front door, jiggles the handle, then puts in a code to try to gain access to the house. The code is wrong, but it could be because the deceased family members had recently changed it. But that would indicate that this person knew the homeowner. Why would someone rob a dead person? Even more puzzling is what's inside the safe. Inside the safe, there are a few pieces of jewelry, investment documents, and old cell phones. So 3 things. Let's say the thief wants the jewelry. That would mean that the thief's whole motive is to get money, right? I mean, nothing else in the house was taken though. That doesn't make sense. All these designer bags and other expensive luxury goods are sitting right next to the safe in the closet.
Proof.
They are left untouched, just left. That's very, very strange. So if they're not stealing the safe for the jewelry, are they going for the investment documents? Well, that doesn't make sense either, because there would be virtually no way for the thief to gain anything from those investment documents. They could not be able to transfer a single cent, a single penny to their name. They could not pretend to be the deceased to gain access to their funds, because the home and the safe belongs to a high-profile K-pop idol, Goo Hara, who recently passed.
Wow.
There would be nothing that they could do with these investment documents. It was just way too high profile of a death. That just leaves one last thing in the safe. The old phones. Was there something on the phones that someone did not want the rest of the world to see? And does it have anything to do with the fact that months before Goo Hara died, before she passed, she helped expose the Burning Sun scandal?
Oh, it has to. Jeez. And on the tail end of this, I'm gonna tell you a quick story about my one and only time with a little safe like that. And it's pretty eerie. Very eerie, actually. It shook me still.
We would like to thank today's...
Because I know we're about to get into a sponsor here too, and you guys like to skip through the sponsor anyways, I'm sure while watching. But so what actually happened to me, and I don't know why at the time I didn't investigate this more. So this happened, I would say, in high school still. Maybe it was a little after high school because, again, I didn't investigate it too hard. And my high school years and after high school years kind of blend very similar. I wasn't really doing much different. So one of my friend, Gary, he has a sister, Anna, and her boyfriend at the time, Reggie, he apparently found a safe in a ditch, and inside of the safe was all of my information, IDs as well. And he brought that up to me because it was shocking for him. Why I didn't investigate it, I don't know. Maybe because I didn't believe it and I thought he was just talking crap. But he was pretty dead serious, at least when he was telling me. And he didn't have it on him at the time because I guess they had misplaced it or something like that by the time they had told me, because they weren't immediate friends with me and they only knew me vicariously through as I told you, through two steps of people to get to me. So, but that still kind of has haunted me my whole life, because it's like, why was there another like ID in a safe in a ditch and someone found it? And if you are just bringing that up to play with my head, that's so random because you don't even know me and you like me apparently too. So I remember how much that twisted me up too. So I only bring that up to give a little personal story on this before we jump right into this and see exactly why this poor girl passed away after exposing this Burning Sun scandal, as well as being like harassed so poorly as a person and an idol through all her relationship scandals.
Sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the Megan Meyer Foundation. Since its inception, they have educating one essay and abuse through Black 1 and Part 2. Heavy for you, please photos and videos without one's consent. If that is something that might be too heavy for you, please go take care of your bullying, a couple disclaimers. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. A couple disclaimers in today's case. There is heavy subjects including bullying, self-exit, essay, and abuse through blackmail of releasing explicit photos and videos without one's consent. If that is something that might be too heavy for you, please go take care of yourself and we will see you in the next one. There is also a part 1 and part 2 to the series, which will all be linked in the description. I highly recommend watching those first before this episode. And if you have already watched them, I'm going to try to give you a somewhat brief recap before we get into today's episode, which will be the part 3 and hopefully final part of the Burning Sun case.
No
In the very
kidding.
first episode of
Sounds like
Burning
it
Sun,
is.
we talked about how it was the it nightclub in South Korea in pretty much all of 2018. If you wanted to be seen, you go to Burning Sun. If you wanted to see a celebrity, you go to Burning Sun. It was as close as you could
What a
possibly
name.
get into running into an idol on
Everyone's
Saturday
Icarus
night,
there,
a
flying too
random
close to the
Saturday.
sun.
The VIP tables at Burning Sun would cost anywhere between $10,000 to $100,000. But the true VIP
Oh,
menu
and what's so cool about this, and I really wanted to bring this up for everyone who does not know, and I really thank you again to my patrons who always are so good, and my YouTube Chronicans for letting me know everything about um, the things that we are watching. Because what is so interesting for me is the contrast of money. Because 10,000 South Korean won is $10 Canadian. So again, 10,000. But these are 100 million? Are you kidding me? So how much money is that? Because you add 3 zeros, so you just have to remove 3 zeros. So that is literally $1 million you're spending Canadian. Is that right, or is that 100,000? Regardless, I think that might be 100,000 actually. 100,000 Canadian. That's crazy. That's what some people make in like 2 years or 1 year of their earnings on a 9 to 5 job, just in one night. Like, that's just to try to give you some context, at least from Canada, how much money that's spending. Oh man.
was a complete secret. That's not even the real VIP menu. The only thing on the secret menu is a tall glass of water. Water refers to a hot drunk girl. The VIPs will tell employees that they want a glass of water. The employees then go searching in the club to find a girl that seems more or less alone, somebody that's easy to slip away from her friends, someone who's already drunk. They lure her, if not basically drag her at times, into the VIP rooms in the back where the VIPs are left to do whatever they want with these girls, which typically it involved essay and the filming of essay.
Yeah.
One text message between two employees reads, "The VIP room is looking for a hot girl." "Okay, looking for one right now." "He's chasing me. Help me find one quick. Don't even need a hot girl anymore. Just looking for one that looks out of it." "Okay, we'll look for
Jeez.
one of those then." "Help me hit a home run, please." The employees were incentivized. They said that if they were able to get a girl to be essayed by a VIP, they would get a big bonus, a massive tip.
Oh,
But it
that's
takes a lot for somebody to be in that state where
sharks.
they don't recall most of the details of the night before. They don't even remember a face. So the employees would sometimes just slip a drug into the woman's drinks. So you know when you go to a bar, you get nervous that you're going to get roofied by somebody at the bar, like another club goer, so you cover your drink. At Burning Sun, it's alleged that the bartenders would just roofie your drink. Just straight up. They give you the drink with a roofie in there.
Oh.
And then eventually you get dragged into the VIP room. A former employee said the date GHB was used a lot. Normally the customers that used it were in private rooms. There was this room incredibly deep in the club. There were lots of guards outside the room, and whatever happened in there, no one else would hear a thing. I saw women unconscious after being given GHB at Burning Sun pretty much almost every single day.
Jeez.
One employee said if a VIP told the employees to bring that girl, they would just point at a random girl in the club, in the crowd. They will do whatever it takes to bring that girl in an unconscious state to the VIP room. Burning Sun is one of the biggest scandals of the K-pop world, considering one of the 4 co-directors of the club is Seungri, a member of one of the most iconic K-pop boy groups of all time. He and a few of his other
That's
male
intense.
idol friends, not from Big Bang, used Burning Sun almost like their playground. Burning Sun was used to victimize women in an effort to get investors to invest more into Seungri and the guy's businesses.
Playground is a nice way to say it.
But there's also another element to this case, the group chats. Many of the male idols that we're talking about today are involved in this Kakao Talk group chat where they would send each other these videos and photos of themselves having intimate relations with women that typically in the videos, they seem unconscious. Sometimes it's semi-unconscious. Most of the time it's fully unconscious. It seems like they don't know what's happening to them. Obviously, they don't even know that they're being filmed. At first, it was debated by a lot of Seungri fans that Seungri himself was only part of the Burning Sun scandal rather than both, and that the inappropriate chat rooms, completely different story. But a new BBC documentary that came out a few months ago released irrefutable proof that he indeed
You
was
hear
part of
that?
those video group chats. He was sent a video of one
That's
of those
rough.
men assaulting a woman at a ski resort. This woman does not appear to be conscious. And he responded to it. Who is it? Additionally, a new video of Seungri has been released that shows him dragging a woman towards his table, a woman who clearly is trying to resist. She's using all of her body weight to resist going with him, but he screams at her, shut up, follow me. In part 1, we go through the inner workings of the club, how it starts unraveling near the end of 2018 when a random club goer.
I must just say, if you idolize these people, and I'm not like actually bashing you, if you were idolizing them and then this type of thing happened where you see some of these videos of just this horrible actions of humanity, and it can break you once something like this happens, and it can shift your paradigm when you used to worship these people as good humans, but then when they show their true side, it can really twist your fabric of reality. I remember in when I was younger and I watched WWE, and that's like a wrestling entertainment thing in North America that is kind of worldwide now. But basically, it's fake wrestling that just tells stories. But you can start loving the characters, and I would loved Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. Eddie Guerrero passed away from a heart attack, which was tragic enough. But then after, Chris Benoit then went and spiraled and ended up doing some pretty bad things to his family and himself. And because of that, it made me mentally spiral so bad. So I wonder how many people, that's why there's so much denial on if these people actually did it or not. And people are looking for irrefutable proof before making any of these statements, on, especially on people they love, because there's millions of people that are then going to be like so confused of the reality, because it's like, what are they, like a double life person? Is everyone else a double life person? And if so, it changes everything. It breaks your it breaks the innocence, and once the innocence is broken, a lot more things can happen.
Very controversial club goer is seen on CCTV camera being hit by an employee of Burning Sun. In part 2, which was uploaded a week ago, we do a deep dive on how that man, the controversial club goer that was hit by the staff, was not actually the real whistleblower of Burning Sun like the mainstream media depicted him to be. But in fact, the 5 real whistleblowers in this case are 5 women. Mm-hmm. In 2016, the first whistleblower was JJY's girlfriend. JJY is one of the main idols involved in the secretly filming video group chats. A girlfriend of JJY's walks into the police station to report that her boyfriend, this famous celebrity, JJY, had been filming her without her consent in these inappropriate situations. The police go to investigate, and JJY, his phone is conveniently broken. But since he's such a stand-up guy, he's gonna take it to a third-party tech shop to try and recover all of his files so that he can prove to the police that no such file of his girlfriend exists. The second whistleblower would be the girl that works at that said tech shop. She wishes to remain anonymous, but against fear for her own life. Okay, just some context here. Korea is not the place that you go up against someone that has more money than you. Money almost always wins. It's actually known that when you want to pick a fight with someone, you consider your status and their status first. You got to think about who your parents are, how much money you have, where you live, all of these things before you pick a fight. Like, that's a saying because it's that difficult. Against all of that, she recovered all the files on JJY's phone, realized, wow, okay, this K-pop idol, JJY, and all of his other famous and powerful friends are doing some crazy, shady, illegal things. She secretly copies all the evidence into 3 USB drives, and she keeps it for 3 years until she finally turns it in anonymously to an attorney. The third woman, a whistleblower, is reporter Park. Yeah. In 2016, she reported on the fact that JJY was being investigated by the police because his girlfriend alleged that he had recorded videos of her. Since at that point, she doesn't have any concrete evidence or proof, even just reporting on the allegation makes her receive these relentless attacks and cyberbullying. Reporter Park was doxxed, bullied, harassed, her number was leaked, she was scared for her life for 2 years straight. It was relentless. She was actually targeted by a group called the Anti-Feminist Group in South Korea. I mean, I think the name says it all. They're literally anti-feminist. They think feminism is ruining the country. So she was scared for her life. For 2 years straight, it was relentless, like I said, to the point that she miscarried twice and lost her ability to conceive.
That's so
The
sad.
fourth whistleblower was reporter Kang. She actually starts reporting on Burning Sun 3 years after reporter Park. She saw what happened to reporter Park. Reporter Park almost lost her career. It ruined her life. And reporter Kang still took her attorney's friend's request. She gets a call from an attorney friend, and he's like, something very strange happened. I opened up the mailbox at the office, the law office. We have 3 USB drives of very suspicious videos on there. We need to investigate. In 2019, she starts sorting through all the evidence and writing articles on it. However, she realizes she can't take this to the police. I mean, yeah, she can write articles, but without releasing concrete proof and getting the police involved, it sounds fake. It sounds like, oh, well, this sounds like a crazy allegation against some of the biggest idols. How do we know we can trust this woman? She can't take it to the police, though, because according to the group chats, the guys have a higher up in the police involved that, quote, helps their problems magically disappear. Who knows whose hands this case is going to end up in if she turns it in? Perhaps it'll magically disappear as well. So that means she needs to figure out who this police official is. But she's stuck. Nobody wants to help her with this case. Nobody wants to get involved. It's so high profile. It's messy. It's got elements of sex and feminism and like things people just want to stay away from. It seems like too much trouble until she receives a call from Goo Hara, a K-pop idol who recently tried to self-exit. And she tells reporter Kang she wants to help. She was friends with fellow K-pop idol Choi of FT Island, who was part of those group chats with the inappropriate videos. And she believed that she could probably get him to tell her the name of the police official. It's actually only through Goo Hara that reporter Kang is able to get that name.
I love it.
And then a few months later, Goo Hara is found dead in her apartment. In part 2, we go in depth on a few people's careers, but just to give you the briefest of brief recaps, in the Burning Sun case, the most notable K-pop idols involved are Seungri of Big Bang. He's probably the most famous and more influential and powerful. Then you have JJY of Drug Island and Choi of FT Island. So JJY, he was part of a rock band. I think his image was bad boy music, but still a softie. That was his image before this whole Burning Sun case. Choi of FT Island had the boy next door innocent boy image. That was his whole shtick. Seungri was the underdog of Big Bang. He wasn't the most beloved at the time, so a lot of people were rooting for him. It was also stated that he had the best business acumen out of all of the Big Bang members. So all of these guys are fully loved throughout their entire careers. Then we went in depth on Goo Hara's life career. She debuted with a group called Kara, but because of one single relationship that she had with this other male idol, she starts being labeled as a relationship idol, which in Korea, this is basically a way to kill your career. Nobody cared that she practiced for 10 hours a day. Nobody cared that she learned English and Japanese just for her job. She learned 2 additional languages. Nobody cared about any of that because she was photographed with guys. Once in a while, she would have lunch with a guy, and that became her whole image. She was known as someone who is so boy obsessed. Then in 2018, news broke that she assaulted her boyfriend, physically assaulted him when he tried to break up with her. His name is Choi Jung-pom. We're going to call him CJ. He's just a random nobody. He's a hairdresser in Gangnam. They're dating. He stated, I tried to break up with Hara.
I need these abbreviations for the names.
She started beating me up. Slowly, news starts trickling out to indicate, okay, that's not exactly what happened. CJ was a very jealous, toxic, manipulative, terrifying boyfriend. Hara didn't want another fight with him, so she lied about having lunch with a male coworker because, I mean, it's literally a work meeting, but she knew that he was going to flip out, so she lied. He finds out, breaks into her house in the middle of the night, starts beating her. She fights back, scratching his face, screaming at him, and that night, he emails Dispatch, a Korean tabloid, twice to tell them, I have crazy information on Goo Hara that's not going to disappoint. So you reach out to me. He also sends Goo Hara 2 videos with no words, just 2 videos that he recorded while they were being intimate. I mean, the implication is very clear. He is threatening to ruin her career with them. Goo Hara goes public with this information in the end of 2018. By 2019, CJ apologizes on his Instagram and opens up a new salon. Goo Hara gets bullied for getting plastic surgery, and she attempts to self-exit. She gets bullied after all of this. And even after all of that, after all the mistrust in the industry that she has, she still reaches out to reporter Kang to help with exposing Burning Sun, going up against her own friends, going up against powerful guys in the industry to help bring them down.
Wow.
She was probably, at her time, one of the most hated K-pop idols. Hated. People just did not like her because she did not do what they wanted her to do. She and her friends.
Her face is so recognizable that I feel like I saw her face in the tabloid, like when I was working in, like, say, Walmarts and stuff, when this moment was actually happening, because that's how infamous her image is now too, and it's a really big shame. And I hopefully people are now on her side, and it's too bad a lot of people only are looked good upon after their death. But what is really incredible is Stephanie's ability to actually give you an incredible synopsis. And even though you really should watch the first two episodes if you didn't, she's laying it out so perfectly and so thoroughly that really this is capturing everything perfectly. Again, if you forgot any little detail, she's got you covered. All the main characters, I now have it sorted perfectly as well. I'm trying to listen a bit more too to have it all gathered together, even abbreviating some of these names that I'm not used to saying yet, like CJ and YYJ and all that. It really does help me. So just incredible work, and I'm excited to see how this really progresses, because this is all information we've heard so far too.
And
So
Sulli
here we
were
go.
probably the most hated celebrities at one point. Her best friend Sulli is another K-pop idol we talked about in part 2. She debuted with a massive girl group called FX, but her career comes crumbling down because it's revealed that she's dating Choiza, a rapper whose nickname refers to his large private parts, but he's 33 at the time. She's 19. They have a 14-year age gap, and the public starts taking it out on Sulli, calling her a sex addict, a slut, a whore. They ask her where her mom is. And instead of backing down and apologizing, Sulli just keeps trying to live her life. And people do not like that. They're really upset about that. So in this episode, we're going to go in depth on the careers of all these idols and how they start clashing, and how Sulli and Goo Hara end up passing away within a month of each other. And how there are rumors that Seungri is trying to open up another club right now, since he's been released from prison. He's trying to open up basically another Burning Sun.
What the hell?
I implore you to watch part 1 and especially part 2 before watching this episode, so things will make a lot more sense and you get a fuller picture of the events. But with that being said, let's get into it. We're going to start going from 2015 through 2019 through the timeline of events and how everything escalates into 3 idols in jail and 2 gone. In 2015, Sulli is being bullied for dating Choiza. Meanwhile, her best friend Goo Hara is dealing with this whole new scandal, the scandal of being too financially literate. Goo Hara's bandmates, they went on this show and they said that, oh yeah, we nicknamed her the Queen of Financial Skills. She had saved up most of the money that she earned. She bought this single family house in Gangnam for, at the time it was like $838,000. She didn't even live there. She rented it out, making $5,400 a month.
God, that's so smart.
And then she sold it for $1.5 million. So she made both rental income on that property and capital gains on the investment property. I mean, she's been doing this with multiple investment properties throughout Seoul. A real estate agent would later say, the locations Goo Hara chooses are really optimal. She's able to pinpoint areas where land prices are expected to rise steadily. Wow. This is impressive, considering previously netizens commented that Goo Hara has no talent whatsoever. Well, now those same netizens are pissed. They comment, these clowns earn way too much money. She acts like a psycho attention whore, but the reality is she's just super rich. What the It seems like she's doing this to cut back on her taxes. Athletes and celebrities get paid way too much. Talk about luck. She's literally good at nothing for a kid, not even an ounce of talent. Ugh. Goo Hara literally cannot win. I do want to say that both Hara and Sulli had their fan base, obviously, that loved them and would go to war for them. But that group was nothing going up against the amount of hate that the hateful group was sending. I mean, they would flood their comment section. Meanwhile, Seungri starts organizing sex services in 2015 for Japanese investors. 2 brothers. Japanese investors were flying into South Korea to meet with Seungri. Seungri made sure to prepare an itinerary for them a month in advance. A luxury car would pick them up from Incheon Airport with sex workers inside. They would be driven to a luxury hotel where the sex workers would further provide additional services, mainly whatever the brothers wanted.
2015, so that's way before, 3 years before Burning Sun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we know what kind of business he was doing?
He was opening up other bars. He had one bar called Miltang Pocha. He had 2 bars/clubs called Monkey Museum, one in Korea and one in China before Burning Sun. He was always trying to start these businesses. He has ramen shops. He has restaurants. Yeah.
That's crazy because you would think he already probably has a lot of money.
Yeah.
He has all the influence, all the clout. Whatever restaurant or bar he opens, people will go.
It seems like he has and I mean this with the most disrespect possible. I think that he has an inferiority complex. Because all of the
You think
other
so?
Big Bang members, a lot of them are talented, or a lot of them are talented and very conventionally attractive. He was known in Korea at the time, I recall, as being the one that just didn't really have either.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
he was like the last member to be added on, I believe.
Yeah, so a lot of people felt that he wasn't necessarily that talented at singing or dancing or stage performance. And they added that he wasn't the most conventionally attractive in the group. So there are other group members that are considered not conventionally attractive because that's literally how K-pop works. But they're so talented at singing that they're so beloved.
Yeah. But I mean, I think either way, if he's talented or not, good looking or not,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. He
Yeah.
already has all the success.
Exactly.
Like he's already made it. Any business he opened, he's made it. Why are you still doing all these things? Like, I don't even know if it's just money. Like trafficking women, doing all of
He's
these things.
addicted.
Like it's just evil.
It's evil.
It is
I
straight
think
up
it's
evil.
ego. Like he would rather be evil and try to get a little bit more over people. Because I mean, think about it. If you join a group and you're still making so much money and you're not the most loved, I would just quietly be in the back dancing. But no, he's got to
not
be better
enough.
than all of them. It's so weird. In December of 2015,
Well, hey,
and
it might be weird, but I mean, I'm ultra competitive, and I'm never been the best at not being the best. That's why I always sports were my way to go, and anytime I lost, I would cry. So I've learned to be a better loser and try not to freak out. But I'm definitely still got to work on that. So because of that inferiority complex, if you don't address it, which I know I have my issues, you can become very snappy and very aggressive and all that too. And like I was saying in the previous 2 episodes, it's these insecure type of people and men specifically that can exploit that inferiority into some of the most sadistic and shameful acts. And it's always about like shaming people too and blackmailing and all that as well. And I always like bringing in the things when you censorship things. Not using the R word. I'm still gonna not use it actually, to be honest. I always wondered if blackmail and all that would start throwing some people too with some PTSD as well, because I know I've been blackmailed one time and it's terrified me. So sometimes even the word itself can get my heart palpitating as well. But this one is going very smooth so far. We're already 20 minutes in, so I'm liking the pace that she's on in this one, especially with the first 15 minutes just laying down what's already been established. And now really getting to know what we're going to get some answers on and some hypotheticals, which is always great too. I wonder, let me know, since this is 10 months ago, almost 11 now, if there's been anything that's progressed with actually these people having full nightclubs and all that now too. And I'm sure we'll see if there's anything in this that answers some of that.
January of 2016, Seungri provided sexual services to Japanese, Hong Kong, Taiwanese, and Korean investors 29 times in 2 months. This is also very illegal. Sex work is illegal in South Korea. It's actually considered sex trafficking at this point.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
because he's facilitating it. In 2016, Hara and Sulli have their first joint controversies. So 2016 is really when things start crumbling for the girls. This is just the start of a string of controversies surrounding the girls. And you're going to sit back in 2024 and think this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, but just bear with me. In 2016, they post pictures from a personal photo shoot that they did together. So it's not done by their agencies. One picture shows them both wearing these white crew necks, just hoodies, posing in front of a white wall. Neither of them are smiling. It's all very aesthetic. But the photo that netizens have a problem with is they're both wearing the same shirt. So imagine an oversized t-shirt. They're
Johnson's
facing each
baby
other
oil.
and they've both put their heads in through the t-shirt hole for the head. They're sharing one shirt. And it appears that they're naked underneath. It doesn't appear like they're wearing pants or anything, right? So they're both in the same shirt and they're both unclothed. But the main issue that netizens had is the shirt reads very clearly, Johnson & Johnson's baby oil. Sulli,
Is this an ad?
God damn. Only knowing where baby oil now has gone with the P. Diddy trial. I'm sorry. The irony on this is pretty already. Woof. Let's see what's gonna be said here, but oh my gosh. I could already see the outcry.
Johnson & Johnson's baby oil.
Is
Sulli,
this an ad or?
no.
Oh, okay.
Sulli and Hara are accused of taking Lolita-esque pictures. The comments read, they're basically infantilizing themselves, is what the comments accuse them of. Because baby oil, but yet they're naked. It just, the juxtaposition they said was very uncomfortable, a lot of the haters. I will say general consensus for this controversy in South Korea was a lot of people didn't like it, but you had a strong group of people that wanted them to basically be killed for it.
See,
Like-
and if you didn't like it, like I'm saying, if you were uncomfortable from that picture, you have every right to be so. Let's not kill the people for that artistic view still, because that was still tasteful and they're still going for a tasteful look there. If they're not, like, you'd be lying, you know?
Like a firing squad and everything. You would think that they killed a baby. The comments read, is this necessary? Are they both crazy? What's wrong with them? Why take such Lolita-esque pictures like this? The pictures always look submissive or sleepy with blushing cheeks and bedroom eyes. The models always look like they're ready to be dominated. This isn't innocent at all. I hope Johnson & Johnson sues them. How dare they use a baby product for an inappropriate concept like this? Haters even went as far to email Johnson & Johnson to take legal action against the girls. Another comment reads, I honestly thought the picture was maliciously photoshopped, but the source is actually Sulli's Instagram. Some angry netizens even went as far as boycotting all brands promoted by Sulli, even emailing Johnson & Johnson stating that they need to sue her. Sulli responds by posting a picture on Instagram and writing in her caption, Lolita, Lolita, don't go overboard, leave insult somewhere more appropriate and just look at my pretty face instead. So in Korean, it's more like a poem, I guess. Now, some netizens said the girls were promoting Lolita culture and that the photo shoot itself was, quote, like, and in bad taste. A few things to note here. The photographer they worked with is pretty well known in the industry for his Lolita-style photo shoots. He has a whole controversy later for literal crimes, but at this point, nobody knew any of that. They just knew the photographer's name that did this. He loves Lolita, but the girls are the ones that are being burned at the stake for it. When this photographer, that's all he does. Some discourse would say, yeah, I mean, I think most people can agree that the photo shoot, maybe not the best thing they could have done, but some small discourse about it was, what about the industry? I mean, both these girls joined the industry when they were so young. They were sexualized in their youth before they were even of age and sold it to the mass markets. Nobody complained about being like then, but then the girls do something like this from their own free will. Again, not the best photo shoot, but they are seen as these wicked evil.
But again, why is it not the best photo shoot? That's where, for me, like, if you are a true feminist as well, it's like, why is that wrong? And that isn't the best, because you should be allowed to express yourself if that's what the feminism is about. And so I know it's always good to try to cater to the people that are trying to make something look bad as well, but that's what we also have to do with the freedom of speech, is to say, is that right or wrong? Even if you think people could look at it a certain way, you need to stand true and be like, no, they had the right to do that, and that was not wrong of that picture to do it. There was no nudity shown in there. Everything can be suggestive if you want to. They sexualize even babies in, like, Boss Baby. It literally is showing his butt and all that. We're smacking the butt. Like, that's the whole thing that we're always doing in entertainment as well. So I think that is a tasty type of picture that they have as well. I just think it's ironic, especially now with the oil thing with P. Diddy. That is just, it just adds another thing that it's just it's an awkward association. So 2 seconds, just gotta go release myself. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and I have some really exciting news. I can't show you it yet, but definitely stay tuned on my YouTube community posts. What's really exciting is our painting from Alana and I's wedding is finally done. The lady is actually from Vancouver, where we're from, Vancouver Island, so she is actually coming to Victoria, and we're gonna meet her to get it soon. But she is done, and she sent us a picture, and it looks so good that I actually couldn't even tell if it was a painting, but you could tell it's a painting still because that's what the goal was. So it's everything I wanted and more. So definitely stay tuned to that. And that just makes me very, very excited. And now let's get right back to the show here, okay?
This from their own free will. Again, not the best photo shoot, but they are seen as these wicked, evil, conniving, sexual, disgusting people who want there to be more disgusting men in the world, who want all children to suffer. It's like the weirdest thing. Like the assumptions and the lines that are drawn out of this are just abnormal. Meanwhile, JJY texts into his group chat, let's all meet together, go to a strip bar, and girl in the car.
2016?
Yeah. Other members of the group chat respond, we already do that though. That's true, haha. In another text message that year, JJY sends a video into the group chat. It appears to be a video taken of intimate relations he had with a woman, and she does not know that he took the video. He texts along with this video, it's hilarious that I fucked the third floor hallway, recorded the whole. Seungri and his friends open up a new establishment called Miltang Pocha, and through text, they start talking about how they're going to evade taxes on the business. Oh, there's this crazy gnarly quote in their text message where they go, this is why I love Korea. Basically saying they love Korea because it helps them evade the law. Instead of registering their new bar as a bar or club establishment where the taxes are higher, they said that they were going to establish it as a restaurant. And when people are dancing, because that's what you do at a club, he was just going to tell the government officials, they're just walking around. They're dancing in place. Yeah. Seungri sends nude photos of 3 fans he meets during his China fan meet. They're naked, laying in bed, and it's likely that he took it without their consent. He will actually be charged guilty of this photo later on. This is in 2016. Before
he sends a photo of 3 girls on the bed.
3 of his Chinese fans after a Chinese fan meet, which think about the power imbalance. And then on top of that, it looks like it was taken without their consent. In 2016, the guys go on that ski trip and they start sending multiple videos and photos of themselves having intimate.
Like Stephanie here has said, if you're not paying for something, you're the product here. So if these girls are going back with him without having to pay it, that's going to be your price now. And that's devastating. That's why it's not just about not putting yourself in these situations, because this can technically really happen to anyone, but also be wise in what you're doing, because as you see, alcohol is mixed with all this stuff. All deaths and murders and all that, 50% of them are from drunk people, and people who get murdered 50% of the time are drunk. So put that into some context. It's pretty crazy to think about.
Relations with women that appear to be unconscious and unaware of what's happening to them. Seungri is not on the ski trip, but like I said, he is in that group chat. In 2016, another major incident takes place. JJY and his friends are at a fan meet. After the fan meet, they end up calling up a woman they know. Some sources state that this woman is a fan. Some sources state that she's just a friend. Perhaps she could be both. Either way, the power imbalance is still there. They call her to come over and hang out with them at the hotel. But after that fan meet, she would later state she had a few drinks with them and she doesn't remember anything afterwards. When she woke up, her head was aching and all her clothes were off. One of the guys was next to her and she started panicking and asked, what happened? What happened? And he's smiling at her, asking her, oh, you don't remember? And he just starts laughing in her face. She states she does not remember a single thing. She said her head was swollen. It felt like she banged it. The whole thing was just humiliating and startling. The next day, the guys talk about it in the group chat. They state they basically gang R-worded the girl, and she was so drunk she almost cracked her skull. They said they were nervous, thinking she was going to die or have a concussion, and the sound of her head cracking when she fell was just too hilarious. JJY responds that they almost got caught because one of the guys was filming her and turned his flash on. He literally says, you your flash on.
like almost woke her up.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
And then they respond, it was so hilarious. That same year, in 2016, JJY's ex-girlfriend walks into a police station and reports that her boyfriend, K-pop idol, has taken explicit videos of her without her consent. Which we go more in depth on this one, but I will link those parts below. She goes to the police, he sends his phone, and journalist reporter Park, remember? Starts writing about it. She gets death threats. It's a whole thing. This is all in 2016.
Right.
That's crazy that didn't even blow up in 2016, 17, 18 until later, until finally the Burning Sun thing happened.
Until 2019.
Right.
In 2017, this is a big year for the people who hate on Sulli and Goo Hara. Starting off in the beginning of 2017, Sulli and Hara post a series of Instagram pictures. Now, I feel like these pictures would be really aesthetic now, but I guess in 2017, they're not the typical conventional pretty K-pop selfies people were seeing back in the day. These photos look a little more avant-garde, photography, editorial pictures rather than just modeling pictures. They're black and white photos of them, fresh face, no makeup on. This becomes a scandal. The comments are, I can't even read you most of them because they're really racist, but the gist of it is stating that the girls look like they're part of a tribe.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so I guess...
What kind of photo is it?
Just selfies of them, not smiling, staring into the camera, and their hair is a little frizzy, and they have no makeup on.
And people are hating because why?
Stating that they look like
Tribal?
just like racist comments, comparing them to, I don't know. Yeah, I can't even repeat.
Wow.
Haters are commenting that they look like refugees. Someone comments, Sulli has ugly eyes and Goo Hara looks like she's getting old. I bet all they do when they meet up is take pictures of each other. Hey, take a picture of me. They really have nothing going for them other than their skin tones, because now that the photo's in black and white, it's just ugly. Basically saying they're only pretty because they're pale. Another person comments, are they on drugs? This is a scandal. Then there's Soju Gate.
Ridiculous.
Sulli and Hara are live streaming on Instagram. Both girls are in their early 20s, so well above the drinking age. I mean, this is legal. It's the two of them. It looks like they're home. They're eating Korean barbecue, giggling, having a good time. When they look at the soju bottle and it's their friend on there, a fellow idol. So they're like, okay, then we got to do a taste test to support our friend. So the comments on this, as they're drinking the soju, reads, they don't seem normal in the head. This is so sick. Dumb bitches only upload pictures of themselves drinking every day.
Oh my
One and the
gosh.
same, these two. They're both has-beens who try so hard to get attention. They're not even drunk. They're just like taking a shot of soju. Then Kissgate.
That's so ridiculous for them, because I literally just watched a show called Sachita wa Suga, and he was interviewing RM, BTS members here, and they were drinking basically the whole show, and there was probably no backlash because of them being men, most likely. And these women who have a little bit of fun and drink like one little sip are getting, that's a scandal. Like, no wonder they need more feminism over there, because like that's just an extreme. Like you do need to bring the balance closer. That's a lot coming from at least me.
Taking a shot of soju. Then Kissgate. This is a whole scandal. The girls are celebrating Sulli's 23rd birthday, and there's these cute little gold balloons in the back. They're both wearing these matching dresses. Sulli's in the pink version, Hara's in the blue version, which, side note, the dresses are super cute. They're almost like what you would wear as a kid on your birthday, but not in like a weird infantilization way. Just, they're striped t-shirts. It looks very casual. It's actually quite innocent attire for a 23rd birthday. They're both standing there side by side in front of the balloons live streaming, and they're taking pictures, and then they turn to look at each other and they jokingly pucker their lips and they lean in and they so barely touch their lips together. It reminds me of a kiss that a mom would give her toddler. Very like, mwah, like exaggerated, mwah, that type of kiss. The comments read, they're literally insane. I wonder if Hara knows today is Kara's 10th anniversary. Why is she harming their image? They got nothing to do and just want attention. Other comments are fully questioning their sexuality. They read, I think they're lesbians. Yeah, I'm afraid the two will announce that they're dating in the future. It looks like they're at least going to come out as bisexual soon. You think they're seriously doing it? I think they did it with each other.
Oh my gosh.
This was a controversy.
This is ridiculous, and we literally just watched Are You Sure, which is a Disney Plus show with the BTS members Jungkook and Jimin. And they were literally spooning each other in bed. And Jungkook gave Jimin a good old nice slap of the ass and gave him a nice little hug. And there was honestly nothing gay. It's all admiration, love, and just closeness. It's just the togetherness and the ability to show admiration to your fellow human that you love, or your brother or your sister. That's really all it's about. It's nothing sexual, and that's what's getting so weird about when they're starting to infantilize some of these things and sexualize every single thing. Which you can see why they were doing that. You can see why people had that angle with the bottle of the baby oil, obviously, too. So she's just nailing this as well, and I think she's giving just a lot of context of everyone, these main players right now. To It's going to be a pretty heavy second half of this episode, I'm thinking as well.
A controversy. Those were the controversies the girls faced together in 2017, but Sulli is in a few controversies of her own that same year. The first controversy starts with an Instagram picture, and an article is written about it titled, "Does Sulli Dream of Becoming the Kim Kardashian of Korea?"
What?
The photo in question is of her laying on the floor mattress. There's like a mattress on the floor. She's wearing a slip dress. She's laying down and smiling at the camera. Again, the picture is only very sexual if you want it to be. It seems like she's hanging out with the girls and someone takes a photo of her. All of their scandals is very much girlhood.
Yeah.
Like everything that they do are things that just girls typically do. She's laying on the floor chit-chatting with her girls. Someone takes a picture.
Yeah.
She's not trying to be sexy. She's not trying to be perceived a certain way. She's literally just like eating popcorn with the girls. The birthday photo that they kiss, again, nothing is inherently sexual about it. It's just kind of how girls enjoy each other's company, I guess you would say.
And I think these people are actually sexualizing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing is sexual about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, truly, maybe she's not wearing pants, but it's not like she's flashing anyone or posing in a suggestive manner on the floor mattress. But the article written for this one picture reads, on March 3rd, Sulli posted a photo of herself lying down in a skimpy slip that went viral. In the photo, Sulli appears to be wearing no bottoms, and her provocative pose sparked the sexual imagination.
Crazy.
Sulli's behavior is reminiscent of Kim Kardashian in the United States, constantly posting photos on social media that emphasize her sexuality, including close-ups of her body parts and revealing outfits. The article goes on to not so subtly, not so nicely, state that Sulli is posting a lot of sexual photos and doing everything that she can, but showcasing real talent. They say, if she has any, we wouldn't know. Comments on the article read, please don't ever compare her to Kim Kardashian.
When you have nothing actually specific to say against someone, you just say they're talentless, and that's just such an easy, broad thing. The whole world's wrong. It's like, no, what about the world? The whole world. No. Come on, y'all.
There's such a huge gap in their bodies to ever compare them to. Do you not see the major difference between her and Kim Kardashian? Like I said, their bodies are not even comparable.
Wait, so they're on her because they're saying she's not even as sexy as Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, because she's not even trying to be sexy. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
They blame her for
At
trying
least
to be
Kim
like
Kardashian
him,
is
and now
voluminous.
they're blaming
Sulli
her for
seems
not
to
making
think
it
that
like
she has a
him.
hot body with the way that she keeps exposing it all the time when she actually doesn't, which is what makes her even more annoying. Sulli's nothing more than an attention whore who has awakened to the life of having a big D. I will say, again, both the girls had steadfast supporters and fans. Most of the girlies are supporting them at this point. They're just like, just leave them alone is the sentiment. Let them do their thing. They're not hurting anybody. They're having fun. If that bothers you, just click off. But every little thing that they do becomes news, and everyone wants to just hate on them. But by far, Sulli's biggest controversy to date is Nipplegate. That's what they call it. It's so dramatic. But she posted a picture of herself on Instagram wearing a pretty thick tank top. And through the fabric, I guess if you're staring quite hard, you can see the outline of her nipples. On another one where she's sitting in a long sleeve shirt, you can see the outline again of her breasts. And both the outfits, not that it matters, are incredibly modest. Like they're just regular pieces of clothing. She just happens to not be wearing a bra. But it seems like this is some netizens' first time understanding human anatomy, because one comment reads, if I was her friend, I would tell her to delete Instagram. Why has she changed so much? I mean,
The hell?
this reminds me of the quote what was it? To ruin a woman is to call her a slut in public. That's it. That's all it takes. And that's what they're doing to Sulli. And it's pretty clear the negative comments, the cyberbullying, it's getting to Sulli. She posts on Instagram
That's
a
sad.
picture promoting her boyfriend's new song. The picture itself, this is Cheja, her rapper boyfriend. And the picture itself is a funny image of her drinking soju. It's like a meme. And the caption reads, "There was a time when I thought it would be nice if I would never wake up from my sleep. Then my boyfriend showed me this song and it made me feel better and more stable. This is why I cried. I uploaded this post as a fan because the song was so good." Likely not helping Sulli's mental state at the time is later in 2017, Sulli and Cheja will announce their breakup.
Tough. And what's crazy, even in America, our Nipplegate, I would say, was in, I think it was '04, around that time. And Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson were doing the Super Bowl, and they were doing, I think, Justin's song, Sexy Back or something like that. And he was supposed to rip off a part of her clothing, but then it ended up ripping all of it and it exposed her breast and nipple. And Janet's career went pew, but she eventually got back up. But Justin's career, nothing happened to him and just skyrocketed him into even more fame. So it just shows also the two sides of how the genders are treated in these type of ways, where if Justin is a player opposed to Janet being a slut, like they say, that shame when both are saying you're kind of being just highly actively sexual, both are looked at a different way. So the double standard there is pretty nasty, I would have to say. So I'm definitely agreeing there.
Meanwhile, Seungri, he's on top of the world. This is after he's facilitated the sex work of over 29 different women. This is after those text messages evading taxes for his business. He's made it onto the Forbes 30 under 30 list, obviously under his group Big Bang. But even outside of Big Bang's activities, he ends up opening up 2 new clubs, one in Seoul, another one in China. He also states that his ramen business is bringing in like $200,000 a month. Yeah.
Didn't you see the video that the Big Bang members were talking about him?
Yes. Yeah. I get into it.
Oh,
it's a
okay,
whole
okay.
thing. But yeah, I mean, he ends up opening up 2 clubs, one in Seoul, one in China. Again, like I said, this is not Burning Sun, but this is one of his business ventures.
Right.
It's called Monkey Museum, which will later be under investigation for suspicion of tax evasion. And he starts promoting his new business venture, a cancer diagnosis kit. He announces while Big Bang was on stage at a Q&A panel, Seungri announces that he basically will cure cancer. This is obviously a full-blown exaggeration on my part, but he is weird. He tells the audience that prior to this, the only way to diagnose someone with cancer is to have them go to an oncologist, a doctor. They'll have to run scans and x-rays. It's a lot. But he's going to develop a cancer diagnosis kit where you can just essentially take an at-home test to see if you have cancer using your urine.
What the?
G-Dragon tells him on stage to, as nicely as he can on stage, shut up. Basically, stop talking.
What?
He tells him, don't talk about things unless you can confirm these things. Like,
Yeah.
make sure you do testing before you start talking about it publicly.
Oh, so he's talking about something that he's looking to do or he's
Yes.
planning on
Hoping to
launching.
do even.
Yes.
And G-Dragon was like, what are you talking about?
And why
Make
are you...
sure.
Why are you doing this right now at a Big Bang event? Why are you talking like this? What are you talking about? And also, this is such a sensitive topic. Why? What are you even saying? You're not even someone in the medical field.
Yeah.
You're a random idol. Please stay in your lane. That's literally what G-Dragon is saying. But Seungri keeps going and stating that clinical trials were already complete. He would have a prototype March 2017, which he does not. And this was actually not a scandal at all.
This never came out, right?
Nope.
Okay.
And it was not a scandal, even though it really should have been. 2018, the photographer that did the Lolita baby oil shirt, the photo shoot for Sulli and Hara, is investigated for sexually harassing a model. He is found guilty and sentenced to 8 months in prison. The girls worked with him 2 years prior and had no clue about any of these allegations, but they would still be dragged in the mud for working with a guy like this after the fact.
Oh, so he was charged.
Yes, 2
And then-
years after their
Right.
photo shoot.
But people bring back the girls.
Yeah, and they're like, how dare you work with someone like this? Like, if you support people like this, you're obviously messed up. I can't believe you would ever reach out to him to do a photo shoot. You support the sexual harassment of other women?
No.
Yeah.
Damn.
Became a whole controversy all over again.
Who you're
In
associated
2018,
with. This
Goo Hara
is
has
rough.
a rumored self-exit attempt. One news headline reads, "Self-exit attempt rumors." Goo Hara reps say that she was getting treatment for a sleep disorder. The agency denies her self-exit attempt, and it's unclear if it was or was not, although later she will have other attempts. But regardless, the comments read, "As if she would die and leave all of her investment buildings behind. Haha." Goo Hara seems way too greedy and self-centered to actually die. Oh yeah, she'd totally die and leave all that money behind, for sure. Do you guys know her net worth? Why would she leave any of that? Never worry for a celebrity, especially one that owns her own buildings. How to cure insomnia? Go do a hard labor job for a day and you'll sleep like a baby. She'll sleep just fine if she works hard labor for 2 days and eats cup ramen in place of meals. I notice that people who are bored with nothing to do and no physical work in their lives, they have sleep disorders. She hasn't been working at all these days, so why does she have a sleep disorder? Does she just stay up all night playing games? In 2018, Goo Hara goes on a variety show called My Beauty Diary, and she meets...
I'm just going to say something. As a YouTube content creator myself, my sleeping pattern's pretty iffy. I'm not going to lie. The times when I go out and work with my friend Keaton and do a 9 to 5 type of job with him, which is siding, which is building houses, I sleep like a baby. It's a lot more physically demanding. So I'm only going to give a little bit of credence, even though that's nasty to say. But yeah, I think when you get into these new type of jobs that aren't as physically demanding in some ways, which she's not doing what I was doing, and she was being a lot more active. I'm just using myself as an example here. But yeah, I definitely sleep better when doing all that physical activity, say, instead of behind a camera, editing and typing and all that. That only takes out so much out of me, even though it's thoroughly engaging in the brain process as well. And it's definitely a different creative process, you know? So that's irregardless of what is being said here.
Meets a hairstylist, a celebrity stylist by the name of CJ, Choi Chung-bum. He's known as the wannabe Yoo Ah-in, a South Korean actor that's very famous. CJ, the ex-boyfriend, has a pretty big reputation of being a pretty boy in Gangnam. Yeah. The two meet on a variety show and they start dating. Friends close to Hara would later say, things are just not going well. Even before the revenge video incident, they stated that when CJ would get drunk, his behavior would completely change. He was just this delusionally jealous boyfriend. Every time Hara would go out to work, he would accuse her of cheating on him, and he would start these exhausting, never-ending arguments. By the end of 2018, the situation with CJ will be made public, how he had threatened her with intimate videos of both of them, and the search Goo Hara sex video will start trending. By the end of the year, Goo Hara does a fan meet, and just compare this to JJY and Seungri's fan meets, where they end up sending inappropriate videos after the fan meet. Seungri, it was illegal filming versus actual assault, but JJY, he was charged with getting R-word after the fan meet. So just think about their fan meets. Goo Hara does a fan meet where she brings a letter that she wrote, and at the end of the fan meet, she gets up and she says, there were so many things that this year happened, from happy to sad, and I also thought at one point it would be the end, but then there were fans that encouraged me even in that situation. So I just want to express my sincere gratitude. I'm sorry for constantly making you guys worried, and thank you. There's still a lot more I want to do, and I'm going to keep going for all the fans that have been waiting. I'm going to be very active in Japan and Korea in the future. So thank you. And she starts tearing up. Meanwhile, Burning Sun officially opens in 2018, has been open and operating with a lot of success for most of the year. Throughout the year, women are going to the police to report suspicious activities and instances of having just one singular drink or a few sips of a drink straight from the bar, not having any recollection of the rest of the entire night. The police do nothing about it. By the end of 2018, Burning Sun starts unraveling. The situation with the guy that gets punched in the club gets released. Authorities start their investigation into the club, and at first, Seungri tries to play it off as a few employees who have gone rogue. They hit a club goer, he didn't know about this, but the deeper people start digging, a lot more starts coming out about just how shady this club actually is. It is at the end of 2018, the tech whistleblower will send 3 USB sticks to the attorney with all the evidence.
I like this year by year account.
2019 is when everything starts falling apart. CJ is out using his opportunity to build a career out of the whole revenge video scandal. So this is Goo Hara's ex-boyfriend.
How are people not canceling him for, or even calling him out for what he did to Goo Hara?
Yeah, they are, but it's nowhere near as how they're calling out Goo Hara for the smallest things.
So you're saying that even though people realize he's like doing all of this behind the
Yes.
scenes, he still has supporters.
Yeah, so I was actually listening to a very fascinating lawyer who was describing the situation of law in Korea. And she said, if you are ever planning on moving to Korea as a woman, just know this, that in Korea, if a woman makes a few small mistakes and a man makes one big mistake, the man never actually made a mistake. Like, let's say you go to a bar. A woman makes a bunch of mistakes, quote, mistakes. She gets drunk. This is what she's wearing. Maybe she didn't, tell her friend. Maybe she shouldn't have been out. And then a man essays her. Well, because she made all these mistakes. That man's mistake, it's not a mistake, but you get it, doesn't count. He never made one. And then there's another comparison that she said, which is if a man has multiple mistake after mistake after mistake, and a woman has one mistake, they're the same.
What?
They're equals. They have both made mistakes.
Yeah, I can see how this is literally this case.
Yeah. So CJ is out using this as an opportunity to build his career. He straight up
Ridiculous.
opens up a new salon and promotes it in his apology letter on Instagram. And while he's out there doing that, Hara is involved in another scandal. I don't even, every time I say scandal or controversy, just know that this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Again, she did nothing scandalous. She posted a picture onto Instagram and her angry commenters start freaking out, accusing her of getting work done because she looks so, quote, different. Her double eyelids look deeper. That's the accusation. Goo Hara responds to a netizen saying that she had a medical issue where because of a muscle twitch, her eyelids would start drooping and it was really bothering her. So she had them retouched. I'm imagining that she had some extra skin clipped, which is something that a lot of people do, especially as you get older, because it gets heavier. It's not that big of a deal. Even if it was just purely cosmetic, it's not that big of a deal. And the comments keep coming. You lost your charm. Your previous face was prettier. I can't believe you would get plastic surgery. Ugh, you're so vain. After everything that's happened, you still just care about your looks.
That is crazy.
It's her literal
Literally,
career.
Yeah, this is K-pop. What are you talking about?
Some say she's too ugly. Some say she looks old. And then she tries to get work done and it's not even cosmetic. They get upset. Oh, that's another thing. This is a complete side note, but it's so interesting that in the K-pop world, especially through K-netizens, they don't like it when idols get plastic surgery. But they don't like it when their idols don't look perfect. When one netizen commented, "Why are you doing plastic surgery?" I think Goo Hara just got fed up with everyone saying all these things, harassing her for getting a medical procedure. And even if it was solely for the purpose of feeling better in her own skin, even if it was purely cosmetics, so what? So she comments back to the netizen, "Is getting correctional medical surgery a sin?" Which I personally don't find mean. It's a bit snappy, maybe, if you read it that way, but given the situation, the context, the other comments she's receiving, it's probably one of the nicest ways to respond. Another comment.
Take it from me, I don't really respond that very nice to people who are just being straight up liars and gaslighting. That's a very calm way to say it. And it's actually, it could be honest even too. Like, is this actually a sin? Like, am I missing something because I'm trying to be more innocent as well? I truly think she has that look of trying to be a modest, honest person that just wants some love as well.
From a netizen reads, "You looked prettier before you had the surgery." Hara responds, "Thank you for thinking that way." Which honestly, again, not rude at all. I would argue the comment left by the netizen is actually rude. Goo Hara, again, said the nicest thing that could be said to that. The internet does not agree. They rip her apart for being, quote, rude to fans. Goo Hara had to delete her comments and formally apologize.
Wow.
Which is just unhinged. Like, after everything we already know that she's been through with her ex-boyfriend and all of this is really what we're doing right now. And I get it. Some people might say, "Oh, I hate when celebrities create unrealistic beauty standards by denying that they've had surgeries. It sends the wrong message to young girls who think that they'll just be born looking like that." That cannot even be applied to this case. Hara has openly admitted to having work done in the past. In the beginning of her career, she stated that she gets filler injections on her nose, she had braces to fix her teeth, and she had a double eyelid redefined in the beginning of her career. Which, side note, I would really hardly call that getting work done, but still, people are just mad at her. She later posts another Instagram picture with a lengthy caption, basically trying to get everyone to understand where she's coming from. She wasn't trying to be rude to a fan. She writes, ever since I
never
debuted...
really thought of that. Like, I'm really glad she brought up the braces there, because no one gives any flack for braces, yet we'll give flack for plastic surgery sometimes. I never really thought about that. And like, we're okay if we want our teeth looking good, but not like our face looking a certain way if we feel like it's a little unproportioned in some of the ways that we want it. I'm pretty sure that's why we're doing our teeth, because they maybe are going into gums, not in perfect proportion, so on and so forth. So I really am glad that that was kind of brought up. That kind of opens my mind a bit there too.
Viewed at a young age, I've suffered from a lot of malicious comments and psychological pain. Of course, there was a reason I got eye surgery at that young age. One of the reasons why was because I no longer wanted to be hurt by the uncomfortable feeling in my right eye from my muscle twitch. I feel it's better for me to be confident about the things that I want to be confident in. I never once thought I should take action against these malicious commenters. I'm always someone who just lives each day the best as I can. So I hope you can look upon me nicely, no matter what I look like now. I promise I'll continue to work hard to become a better person who takes responsibility for her words. A month later, Goo Hara attempts self-exit.
No, a month
Hara
later.
posts onto her Instagram, I'm tired of pretending that I'm happy and everything is okay. I don't want to cause concern and be a burden amongst other people. 5 days later, she posts another cryptic Instagram picture with just one word, goodbye. After seeing this, Hara's manager starts freaking out, tries to call her, but call after call just keeps going to voicemail. They panic, rush to her apartment, where they find her unconscious. She is rushed to the hospital, and thankfully, they are able to save her. This is her first verified public self-exit attempt, but later her brother will admit that she's tried a few times prior.
Wow.
She takes to Instagram to address the whole situation. Her first statement is basically a formal apology. She writes, I'm sorry for causing concern and causing a big scene. In terms of health, I am recovering. I have been in agony for a number of overlapping issues, but from now on, I will harden my heart and try to show up healthy. I will overcome it and show you the best Hara possible. A little while later, her second post addresses the hate comments she's still getting. She writes, I will take action against malicious comments in the future. There's no excuse for malicious comments. For my mental health's sake, I want to become a person that you can look at with pretty eyes. So she's basically saying, you don't like me? Like, I want to be someone you can like for the own sake of my mental health so you won't bully me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, she's basically saying, I want to be that person too, okay? And say things with pretty words and a pretty heart, but depression is not easy. People say, I'm too comfortable and that's why I'm depressed. My life is all thanks to the hard work that I've put in. Don't you know that you too might be depressed and sick too if you're leaving these types of comments? Where are the pretty people where are the pretty hearts that find broken hearts together and wrap their loving arms around them together? I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna overcome it and become positive and show you a better side of me. You should try that too. She's talking to the haters.
Yeah.
Celebrities aren't people just making a living off publicity. They have to be more careful about their personal lives than anybody else. And more than anybody else, they have a pain that they can't talk to others about. Even if they do, most people don't understand it. You're free to speak your mind and you can think about who you are, but you should think about who you are, what kind of person you are, before you spread that kind of hatred. Personally, I think it's really beautifully worded.
Very beautifully worded.
I think it's a nice message for the people who have been cyberbullying her for a few months, if not years. A lot of comments agree. They write, you're right. Society needs to start getting rid of kids who leave hate comments that are too harsh to even put into words. Don't go easy on the hate commenters. So in Korea, you can actually take legal action against malicious comments.
Really?
But others read, leaving hate comments is bad, but it's not like you're any better. What I earned through working hard? Is she implying that we commoners don't try hard enough to obtain the same kind of wealth? She's so out of touch.
Oh, God.
She can just stay off social media. It's
God,
not like she
people
really
twist
expects to
everything.
hear only praise every day. Geez, is that what she wants? Others commented that she's going to look back at her self-exit attempt in a few years and cringe. They accuse Goo Hara of being an attention whore and state that true attention whores never actually die because they're already satisfied with the attention that they get from it. Almost immediately after that, during the first trial against her ex-boyfriend that took the videos and photos of her, he was given an 18-month suspended sentence. That means
Means he's out.
Yes. So he's given 18 months, but as long as he does not commit a crime in the next 3 years while he's free, he doesn't need to serve the 18 months. Basically, he doesn't have to go to jail.
What?
The judge in the case stated CJ did hurt Goo Hara in the process of their breakup, and he also threatened to end her life as a celebrity by sharing their sex video. However, we understand he did not plan on committing these crimes. The sex video was not recorded against Goo Hara's will. The video was never actually leaked or shared with the public. They're basically saying he didn't plan to do it. He threatened her, but then he didn't actually do it. So,
Wow.
Thus, the court concludes to give Choi Jung-bum
Attempted murder still gets you life. Sorry, y'all.
a suspended sentence with a probation period.
Jesus.
So you're telling me it's okay to blackmail someone as long as you don't actually go through with it?
As long as
So
you
is it
don't
okay
actually go
to
through.
in-depth fully plan to harm, I don't know, let's say a judge, but then as long as you get caught before you go through with harming them physically, it should be fine. The judge should be okay with it. Like a threat against his own life, it's just a threat. I didn't actually do anything. The court continues. While Choi did not get Koo's full consent to the video, so like they're going back on their word, did not get her full consent to the video to record the sexual activity. Those two were in fact involved in a romantic relationship at the time of the recording, and Goo did not specifically stop Choi from recording either. This is giving, oh, you can't essay your wife because you guys are married. That's what it's giving.
Yeah, I
Jesus,
think that's what
yeah.
they believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2019 is a very rough year for Goo Hara. After her self-exit attempt, after the depressing verdict from the court, she takes the first step to reach out to reporter Kang to tell her, I heard you've been writing about Burning Sun. I was friends with them. I think I can help you. In 2019, Sulli, so this is Sulli, not Goo Hara, posts a picture of flowers on her Instagram. The caption reads, abolition of laws punishing abortion. Today is an honorable day, freedom to choose for all women. Some comments, and this is 2019, so it's pretty recent. Comments read, abolition of anti-abortion laws isn't a matter that should solely be celebrated, but she's so happy about it. Sulli, stop acting like you're woke. Everyone can tell by your actions that you're just stupid. Sulli pretends to be aware of things thanks to the backing of social media, but we all know that her brain is empty. Sulli's gone crazy posting I wonder what her parents are like. 2019 is not a good year for Seungri either, JJY and Choi of FT Island. JJY is arrested and reporters hound him at the airport. There's a female reporter that approaches him and is like, is everything you said in the messages true? Because the Kakao messages get leaked at this point. And he just responds, sorry. And all the reporters, it turns into a mosh pit at the airport. The reporters keep asking, is it true that you secretly filmed women? And he's just holding on to this one bodyguard for dear life. After the airport incident, he publicly announces that he will be quitting the entertainment industry, which is a lie because he's coming back. And he states that he has indeed
Disgusting.
committed crimes. He writes, I admit to all my crimes. I filmed women without their consent and shared it in social media chat rooms without any guilt. More than anything, I would like to apologize to the women who appeared in those videos and who have learned of this hideous truth as the incidents come to light. He is promptly arrested and he will be sentenced to 5 years in prison. Choi is quickly arrested as well. And by mid-2019, things kind of start looking better for the girls. Maybe the tides are shifting. Goo Hara signs with a new Japanese agency. She releases her first single as a soloist. Goo Hara's own brother says, obviously, things don't just magically disappear. Her depression is still there, but it appeared that she was feeling more stable. He says, she looked better than I thought she would. She was even encouraging her brother and her sister-in-law to go visit a doctor. She was helping pay for their doctor's visits so that they could try and have a baby.
Wow.
And she just was really excited to be an aunt. It seemed like she was entering this new phase in her life. Same with Sulli. Sulli does an interview addressing the hate comments. She literally goes on a show called Night of the Hate Comments, where the hosts bring on celebrity guests and read comments with them to talk about it and address them to a degree. It's kind of like Jimmy Kimmel, the celebrities reading mean tweets, but a bit more discourse. The celebrities will usually talk to the host about how the comment makes them feel, if there's any validity to them, if they're true, if they're not, why it started. In one mean comment, they talk about Sulli being an attention seeker, to which she responds, I think it's a valid comment because aren't we all attention seekers at the end of the day? Like, don't we all kind of want attention? And
I know I do.
so it's like, I feel like she's very in tune with emotions and people.
I feel like they are being more authentic
Yes.
on social media. They show a little bit more commonly shown as the K-pop idol
I
image,
agree.
and they get bullied for that.
Meanwhile, these three guys have the perfect image and they're committing some of the most heinous crimes in the K-pop world behind the scenes. It's like out of this world. I mean, all these girls want to do is post some creative photos and just be artsy. They're just very creative. The host asks her, is that why you continue to post no bra pictures, even though you know that you're going to get some crazy reactions and cause a big controversy? So these are talking about how she posts pictures without bras on. And she said, when I first posted pictures of me without a bra, there were so many different reactions. And I do think that, yeah, I could have gotten scared and just hid and never posted those things again, but I didn't. I kept posting because I wanted people to realize it's not that big of a deal. I just wanted the prejudices to disappear. She said how at one fan meet, a fan came up to her and whispered, "언니, I'm not wearing a bra today." And Sulli gave her the thumbs up because I want to break that mold on society and show that no bra is no big deal. I think it's about freedom of the individual. Bras aren't even good for your health. They have a wire. They're not good for digestion. I have digestive issues. So it's just much more comfortable for me not to wear them. And I think it's very free and
I would
honestly
agree.
beautiful. To me, bras are like accessories. Some clothing, it looks better with a bra. Some clothing, it doesn't look as good with a bra, so I don't wear one. She's handling it with so much grace, honestly. And I think she's trying to be, again, as
Incredible
transparent
grace.
as possible. She even says, when I would meet people in
Sticking
the
to her values,
past,
too.
even before I said hello, I felt the need to explain, wait, whatever you read about me, please forget it. That's not who I am. Those rumors aren't true. She said meeting people was so stressful.
Yeah,
At one point,
no
the
kidding.
situation got so bad, she started fearing for her safety, that all that hate was going to manifest in real life, meaning if all these people hate her online, what are the odds that she's going to run into one of them in person? She was very scared. She starts getting massively paranoid. She would take alleyways when she goes out, avoiding public spaces. She always felt like cameras were following her around. The hosts
Tough
agree that Sulli
paranoia.
is like the nuclear bomb of hate comments. She gets so much hate for no reason at all. They ask her, what makes you happy? Like, what do you do to stay happy through all these comments? To which she responds, my life is actually pretty empty, so I feel like I'm lying to everyone by pretending to be happy on the outside. There was really never truly a time where I was really happy. Another host said their heart ached for Sulli because how much suffering does one have to go through to say that you've never truly been happy?
Jeez.
When she was asked about how she wanted the world to see her, she said, I think I just wish people would look at me and think, oh, I guess there's someone like that exists. And just accept the difference, that not everybody is identical. They don't have to like me, but just, people like that exist as well.
Yeah.
But of course, that is not what netizens decide to focus
People
on.
like that
Instead, they won't
exist.
stop talking about her September
I really love that plea because I think a lot of people right now who are trying to find their identity and trying to find things to clamor themselves onto, we're all so uniquely different. And just to know that someone like me exists and something like this exists is all the message that we all want everyone to hear, to be honest. So that's a beautiful message, and it's such a somber feeling to know that someone has never actually felt happy in their life and what type of suffering inside they're really going through, and even on the outside too. It's devastating to see the psychological torture all these people are going through. So you can see why there's a lot of people who maybe have a bad idea on some of these K-pop industries and stars based off of some of these scandals that I've been seeing now for the first time myself. It's a lot to take in though, and this one kind of feels like a big recap while pushing the narrative in a way. So it's a lot more digestible still in a way that I can not need to inflect so much because I feel like it's just adding those moments that I've kind of haven't fully integrated from the first two episodes, and I'm sure as it's done for all you, and really bringing it all together, but also adding so many unanswered questions for me, like what are these guys actually doing now since it's been almost another year since this has come out. I can't imagine where they're really at, but since there hasn't been another episode made, maybe nothing has been that bad and maybe they've kind of learned from their mistakes. I hope we'll find out though. We're halfway through this episode, and I want to thank you all for giving me the time, energy, and effort on your side. I really do appreciate the back and forth with all your comments, your likes, and your subscriptions. Thank you so much. Here we go.
28th, 2019 live stream. She goes on a live stream while doing her hair and makeup, and honestly, in the video, she looks kind of depressed. She looks somber. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares to check in on her or see if she's okay. She's wearing one of those thin robes that you tie around your waist, and as she's doing her hair near the end, because of the way that her arms are moving and the camera angle, her breast is exposed by accident.
Right.
Comments start flooding. Why are you never wearing a bra? Even when you're hanging out with your male friends, what's the reason? How are you so confident without wearing a bra? Again, that comment could be interpreted as nice, but it's not, because prior to all of this, throughout her scandals of not wearing a bra, a lot of people mocked her, saying that someone with breasts like hers shouldn't even be confident enough to be outside without a bra. Sulli responds to those comments, "I don't get what's wrong. This is my personal freedom." October 14th, 2019. Sulli's manager has been trying to get in contact with her since the night before, but she's not picking up. She missed her scheduled press events that day, and the manager starts looking for her and finds her in her home. After her death, an entry from Sulli's diary was made public, and it reads, "I haven't written in this diary for a really long time. Today I dreamed that my teeth fell out. I didn't feel very happy about that. I went to the recording and saw a video of myself, and I look really dirty and ugly. I feel embarrassed thinking people are going to be pointing at me and evaluating me. Why can't I be more confident? If I think about it, I feel like I'm still influenced by the hurt that remains in my heart from a long time ago, despite not being able to remember very well. I've never received infinite love. Dad left me even though I didn't do anything wrong. I felt like mom might leave me too if I misbehave, so I forgot about myself and I followed her opinions and her wishes." Side note, Sulli does have a very complicated relationship with her mom. Friends say that Sulli was obsessed with her mom, so obsessed, loved her, followed her around like best friends. And Sulli started in the industry as a child star. Her mom is the one that managed all of her finances. Even later when she debuts and becomes of age, she lets her mom handle it all. It's not until later she decides, hey, maybe I should try investing or something by myself. And her mom tells her there's nothing. Nothing at all. All those years, the traumatic years of working in the industry as a child, her mom blew through all of her money.
Oh my God.
Not only that, her mom has been receiving advance payments for all of Sulli's work from SM Entertainment.
Wow.
Not only is her mom spending all of Sulli's money, but she's spending all of her future money.
Jesus Christ.
Allegedly, their relationship was never the same after that.
You think?
In her diary, Sulli does speak very highly of Cheja, though, her ex-boyfriend, the rapper
There
that
needs
was...
to be more protection for child stars, and I'm thinking there really is. And I think the movement with like YouTube and stuff like that, where kids who are 12 and on are just making so much money, and even younger through these avenues now too. But then the parents having the ability to control that money on the other side, and some of these nasty things that can happen. I think it's happened enough times where there needs to be something changed about how these kids are getting paid and all that, and having more say, because the world is changing and it's evolving. So if these kids are working earlier, they need a better say to their money in some way, even if they're going to spend it poorly. I hear you guys, but their parents are already spending it way more poorly than they probably ever could. So at the end of the day, if it is money being earned, it should go to the person who made it itself. But I am not the most mature adult either, all right? And I'm not the best with money.
14 years older than her, and the relationship made a lot of people turn on her at the time, which I have very complicated feelings about massive age gap relationships, especially when the person that's younger is so close to the legal age limit. But a lot of people turned it on her, which is weird. I just didn't expect that. Usually it's on the older person because they bear more responsibility. They're the one with the power imbalance, right? But I think with this situation, it's kind of hard to really hate him because just the way she speaks about him. She writes in her diary, "Today I went to the nail salon with Cheja." She uses his real name, Oppa. "I'm happy because I feel like we found something else we can do together. I just don't need anything or anyone else. No matter what happens later or what people say, I'm really happy right now. I'm so happy that I don't want to miss any of the emotions that I'm feeling. I want to remember all of them, and I want to feel even the smallest things. He really is such a precious person to me. I cherish everything about him. How can someone be so pure and kind and not calculative and smart and wise and trustworthy and warm? I mean, it's impossible not to love him. He really is precious. He'll probably be the most precious person to me for the rest of my life. I'm happy, and I'm so blessed to have met him. I think this is happiness." Sulli was later interviewed about her opinions on the Korean entertainment industry as a whole, and she stated that idols should be treated like employees. They should have rights like other employees, and they should have a union for idols to keep them safe.
Yeah.
She said, from my perspective, people just don't see celebrities as humans. When I first entered the industry, and something people wouldn't stop telling me is, you are a product, and you must be the best product with the best quality for the public. She said, even the ones who don't tell you straight up that you're a product, they still treated me like one. I have to be something that they want. I have to fear losing my product quality. She said she was so overcome with exhaustion and pressure, she said she just started blaming herself. She states, the only thing I could control was when I caused myself pain. So I blamed myself and I put myself down, and I think that was the only control I had. That's why it was so difficult. I never thought that the system was wrong. There's a movie, The Matrix, where they say, would you rather take the red pill and learn the truth and live a difficult life, or just live without knowing? I often think that had I lived without knowing, I would be living such a happy life. And a lot of new information starts coming to light after Sulli's death. Sulli once filed a criminal complaint against someone that just kept writing malicious, hateful comments about her nonstop. The police tracked the commenter down, found out that she was an attendee, she was a student at a prestigious university, and was the same age as Sulli. Sulli, from the goodness of her heart, dropped the charges. Because she said if she continued, she would graduate and she would have a really hard time finding a job. Later, the university student wrote a very long letter to Sulli apologizing, stating she was very sorry that she commented, and she didn't think it was such a big deal at the time because Sulli probably wouldn't even see it. She was just stressed at the world and her own life, and she took it out on Sulli. Sulli's whole message was, you don't have to do what she does. You don't even have to like what she does. But she said, I just wish we could all treat people with more kindness when talking to others. Everyone wants to be treated kindly, to the point where even victims are told to be kind and nice. People always want others to speak with more kindness to themselves.
Yep.
And speaking of college, university, Sulli had a few bucket list items. Remember scuba diving?
Mm-hmm.
She had aquaphobia
right.
from a bullying incident. So she went scuba diving. And another huge bucket list item was going to university. In an interview, she said, of the 24 years I've lived, the thing I regret most is not having attended college. I've always wanted to go, but I couldn't. I'll definitely go even if it's later on in life. Sulli was in college. And I think that says a lot about Sulli, but her classmates really liked her and they respected her a lot. They admired that she just wanted to be there to learn, so everybody kept it a secret. News never leaked that she was in attendance at that college. Nobody knew which classes she was taking.
So cool.
Classmates agreed to respect her privacy and space. They never took pictures. They didn't ask for autographs. They never told their friends that Sulli was in their classes. In fact, other than people in her specific class, nobody even knew that she was on campus.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Respect.
All
That's
the classmates
gorgeous.
tried their best to treat Sulli as just another college girl because that's what she wanted.
Wow.
One of her classmates wrote after her
Amen to
death,
them.
Dear Sulli, the campus is starting to be colored with autumn foliage now. I wish you were here to see it. I hope you at least took with you the memories you made on our campus last semester. It is more than enough to us if you found any happiness at our school. Wherever you
so
are,
sad.
love and be loved to your heart's desire. We love you, Sulli. Please be happy. October 15th, 2019, the day after Sulli's death, Goo Hara starts an Instagram live stream where she seems emotionally unstable and incredibly distraught. She starts crying. Sulli, I'm so sorry. Onni is in Japan right now and I can't go back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I can only say goodbye to you in this way. I'm really sorry. In the place that you're going in that world, do whatever you want to do and be happy. And Onni will keep working and live. And everyone, I'm okay. Sulli and I were like really close sisters and I just wanted to say goodbye to Sulli. And so I opened up a live and I'm sorry. Please just don't worry about me. I'm sorry, Sulli. Goodbye.
못 가서 미안해. 이렇게밖에 인사할 수밖에 없는 게 너무 미안해. 하고 싶은 대로 잘 지내.
A lot of people rallied to Goo Hara's side and tried to comfort her. But there were still a small group of people that left some crazy comments like, wow, you're really trying to use your friend's death to gain popularity. I mean,
Oh,
the whole
no.
live stream, her eyes are so swollen. Even when she's talking, it's so clear. It seems like she just didn't have someone to talk to. She's rubbing her hands together,
This is
trying to
all she knows.
self-soothe.
This
She's
is her
comforting herself.
community. This is
They
her
accuse her
friends.
of trying to use her friend's death to gain sympathy. Reporter Kang, the one that Goo Hara had reached out to earlier to help with Burning Sun, she reaches out to Goo Hara. Hara, you're such a brave woman and you're very admirable. I want you to be happy. Hara texts her back. Hello, I'm okay. Yes, I will stay strong and work hard. Goo Hara will have one last live stream. She's in a hotel room, and taking from context, it must be really late at night. Late enough that some people are either waking up at that hour, but Goo Hara explains she just kept waking up. Beginning of the live stream, she's responding to comments, and she's speaking Japanese, Korean, and English, which is honestly crazy.
Incredible.
But there's a few alarming things from the live stream. And it's likely hindsight, but it seems that her eyes are glazed over. Not like she's doing drugs, but just she doesn't seem fully present. And of course, it could be the fact that she just woke up from sleep. I don't know. And there's, again, a really heartbreaking part of the live stream. And this could be hindsight again. Towards the end of the live, she gets up and she starts dancing to the music. And I'm sure it's hindsight. But a lot of netizens have pointed out there is almost this like innocence to the way she's dancing. It almost feels like a little girl in her bedroom pretending she's an idol, pretending like she's on stage practicing her dance moves. Early in October, Goo Hara does fly to attend Sulli's memorial service, but immediately has to go back to Japan for her work. Then November 22nd, 2019, she comes back home to South Korea. She posts a picture of herself laying in bed with the caption, "Good night." It would later come out that on her private Instagram, she posted a black screen with just the words, "I'm scared." November 24th, 2019, Goo Hara's brother, who didn't see any of these posts, would get a call from Goo Hara's housekeeper. She's crying, said that she came to the apartment and Goo Hara had self-exited. He starts screaming, get her down, but the housekeeper cries to him, the police have arrived, but they won't let me take her down. They say that they're investigating, indicating she is already likely long past. Goo Hara was found dead in her home, November 24th, 2019. The same Goo Hara that nobody knew had been such a pivotal part in the Burning Sun investigation. I mean, even after everything that she went through and her first verified public self-exit attempt, she still wanted to help. She wanted to help expose Burning Sun. She wanted to help find the corrupt police official. She even helped animals. She spent a lot of her time volunteering with animals. She would spend time at shelters just scooping away at piles of poop. She's not even doing like the pretty, I volunteered at a shelter work. She's out there doing it all. The shelter owners remember Hara constantly asking them, how can I help? How can I help? Just tell me how I can help. She just wanted to help. And basically, everybody failed her. Nobody helped her. Even the judge that was presiding over CJ's case, remember Goo Hara's ex-boyfriend's trial, right? The one with the blackmail. There was this whole trial in 2019 while she was alive, and the judge presiding over the case, he starts doing some really questionable things. He tells the court that in order to come to an informed decision on the case, the videos need to be viewed in court. The videos of Goo Hara in an intimate position.
What?
To make
Why?
sure that she did not consent to the videos being taken. Basically stating
That's
he needs to
crazy.
see for himself. But that would require playing the video in the courtroom. Goo Hara's attorney firmly rejected, saying no matter how private the courtroom may be, it is unacceptable for the video to be replayed in public. That would be the second offense to Goo Hara.
That is crazy that they're suggesting that.
The judge changed his mind and stated, you know what, I agree, which is why I want to watch the video alone in my chambers. Side note, not everyone in the legal community backed up the judge. You would think if he's demanding such a thing, maybe it is the only way, legally speaking, according to the code of the law that I'm not familiar with. Maybe he has a reason, because why would he do something so unhinged? A judge should know what he's doing is right? And making sure all of the parameters are ethical. A lot of people in the legal community spoke out against the judge, stating that even if he doesn't see the video, he should have no trouble determining CJ's sentence.
Yeah.
Does it matter if she consented to the video or not? He threatened to destroy her life with it.
Exactly.
Despite all objections, the judge viewed the video alone in his chambers, and after the judge watched it, Goo Hara had to privately testify to the judge alone in his chambers for 2 hours.
What?
Judge or not, just think about that. I mean, this is a man. This is a male judge. Just think about, again, the re-traumatization that likely Goo Hara faced.
that's
I don't even know if it's
disgusting.
something that could be measured. She did everything she could to make sure nobody would see that video. She got down on her knees. And ultimately, the justice system allowed another man, another guy, to watch the video without her explicit consent. Reporter Kang would later say about the CCTV footage of Hara on her knees begging her ex-boyfriend not to release the videos. She said seeing such a massive K-pop star kneeling before a man and begging him not to expose her to the press, it made my heart break. She was so desperate, and as a woman, I understood how she felt. And all for what? After watching the video, after listening to her testimony in private for 2 hours, the judge stated the content in CJ's possession cannot be said to have been taken against her will, even though she did not expressly consent to them. If she didn't expressly consent to them, she didn't consent to them.
Yeah. Not
What do you?
expressively.
There is
There's
no
either a
maybe.
yes or no.
It's a yes or no. Consent is not like a maybe it's yes, maybe it's a no. It's a yes or no. But the court argued that Hara knew about these videos and photos before the blackmailing incident. When she found out that he had taken them without her knowing, she didn't immediately delete them. So technically, she consented after the fact, is how they phrase it. That's what the court is arguing, which I think is a really good argument if you just had a lobotomy. Because what are you even saying right now? That doesn't even make sense. Goo Hara was on her knees begging so that nobody would see it, and he still watched it.
Yeah.
After this incident, people started making memes of the Burning Sun guys holding up finger hearts with words that read, "Judges, we love you all."
Rough.
Which, side note, this is a massive side note and rumor. Heavy emphasis on the word rumor. These aren't even really allegations. I would literally call them rumors. Just whispers on the internet by unverified sources and netizens. But there is a rumor that the prosecutors in South Korea, and probably in America and anywhere else, have a large digital collection of unreleased celebrity intimate videos. Which makes sense because a lot of the times they would have to be taken into evidence if someone is accused of filming someone without their consent. But the massive rumor, not truth, but rumor, is that the prosecutors will sometimes show a new prosecutor the collection as part of some sick welcome ceremony.
What?
Again, this is just a netizen rumor. There is no proof of this, but the whole situation with the judge kind of dug up this rumor all over again, if only momentarily. But the judge is not the only one not protecting Goo Hara. Another notable individual was a professor named Chu Chul-hwan. He had brought up Goo Hara's passing in one of his lectures, and he claimed to his class that Goo Hara died because she didn't have a strong enough mentality to withstand malicious comments. He said, you end up like her if you don't have a strong mind.
Wow.
Why do you think people curse at others and hate comment them? It's all an inferiority complex. Why would you make such an extreme choice because of them? You don't need to do that. You need to have a strong mentality. He also stated if Goo Hara had come to him for advice, she would not have self-exited. He said if Goo Hara met me, she would have never died. I would have changed her. She was
Wait, who is this?
a professor at a university.
Why is he commenting on this?
Nobody knows. Why is he even talking? Nobody knows.
But this was shared.
All the students were so pissed. They shared it online. She would have never died. I would have changed her. She was too weak and she just cared too much about what others think about her. I'm sorry, read the room. The last thing she needs, or any of these female idols need, is another obnoxious, thinks he's better than anyone, smarter than anyone, man to be involved in their lives. Yeah. What's crazy is he received maybe 1%, not even 1% of the hate that Goo Hara received on a daily basis, but he received it for good reason after this became public for saying these insane things about her, and he would apologize, and he seemed overwhelmed by the hate. So you should just have a stronger mentality and stop caring about what people think about you.
Easier said than
He also
done.
defended the ex-boyfriend, CJ, saying that he made one mistake.
No.
Yep. Yeah. He continues,
Wow.
what if student A made a mistake in high school and filmed a slightly erotic video and we all saw it? Why should anybody die? If it were me, I would have said, so what? So what if others see it? What's wrong with my body? You need to have a strong mentality like that. Why should you choose to die just because someone saw your embarrassing side? What good is that to anybody?
Is he fired or no?
I don't think so. He would later try to excuse the whole lecture by saying that he was trying to teach freshmen how to self-love.
How to self-love?
I just feel like every man in this story is like a caricature of a villain. I don't even know, like, why are they doing this? Why are they?
Why are men such pigs and we just think we can get away with anything, and it's just this inferiority complex, which I'm really glad that that term was brought up here correctly, because that is the insecurity that you can see through all these men that are so damn destructive and just so cowardice because they can't just address their own insecurities and their own sexual desires and aggression like you need to. That's why we're civil, y'all. We're not going out and R-wording and pillaging and all that stuff now. Like, we're trying to be civil here, so we're not trying to act all tribalistic and barbaric and our naturist at its animalistic form. So that's why you can understand why people are like this if you understand how long we've been going as a species and how only recent in our actual time as a species we've been civil. And this is, as you're saying, like, I don't know if you can even call this civil. This is more organized animalistic pleasures getting pushed out, and just the depravity of people and the double standards here on how they make women feel just for being a human and needing natural things. It's devastating to watch. And coming from Canada, we're so much more liberal here, so we're not getting these harassments. These girls aren't getting harassed the same way that these girls in South Korea are, and it's a lot to take on for someone who loves the rights for women as well. I grew up with three sisters, older sisters myself, so I've always had that love and respect for women and what they go through and what they need. So this is also why these type of things are really hard for me to watch when no one's treating these sisters good.
Are you doing this? It's not most cases. Like, this case is just particularly every single man that has come up in this case. I'm like, please just shut up, because what are you doing? Maybe there's been a few redeeming men in this whole story, and that's it. Like, what they're doing, it's so bad. Why would he even talk about her? The judge, the professor, these are all people in power with influence and experience that could have protected Goo Hara and teach future generations about the law and how it's unacceptable to do what CJ did. But instead, they excused him. People remember how hard Hara trained to be an idol. She was balancing idol training, school. She did this when she was 14. She said once, I went to classes even when I was sick and I had nosebleeds. If I didn't practice, I would start getting anxious. In the beginning, it was really hard to adjust. People told me to quit, but I got anxious thinking about, what if I spend the rest of my life not becoming what I want to do? So I worked hard. I fainted a few times from exhaustion, but I couldn't let that stop me. At the time, a lot of Hara's bullies online would say that she doesn't care, she has no talent, she's boy obsessed, she doesn't care about her future, what the world thinks about her. They called her a train wreck. I feel like in their sick minds, they justified that as a reason on leaving some of the most heinous comments you could think of. Clearly, she doesn't care, so it doesn't bother her, obviously. But that's just so not true. Some of Hara's older brother's memories are from when she was first debuted. She was rewatching her KBS Music Bank performance with her group Kara, and at the end, she accidentally slipped on some of the falling confetti, and she briefly gasped, "Ah!" as she fell. Her brother thought it was a cute moment, and it showed how human and natural she is. And I mean, all the fans online were talking about how the confetti do be a little dangerous, and they were cheering her on. But Hara was always her biggest critic. She was in tears watching it. She was sobbing about her mistake and how she could have done better. She should have known better. She should have done better.
Oh no.
This is the same woman who in 2013, Kara was touring in Japan, and after performing several stages in one day, she collapsed on stage. She had to be carried off the stage. She was given aid, and she forced herself back on the stage before the concert ended. When the concert ended, she was immediately rushed to the hospital, and she was back to performing the very next day, an entire set. You would think that netizens at the time would have a lot of respect and praise for her dedication for her work, but this is what was being said online. The top comment on that article that has over 6,000 likes reads, Kara faints during Radio Star after Hara throws water bottle. Because remember, she threw a water bottle on the Radio Star show.
Right, jeez.
Wait, what? How is that related to this?
It's not. They're just saying, like, a better headline would be she faints after throwing a water bottle, because she was known for throwing a water bottle. Another few read, should have been more careful. Maybe she tripped on the water bottles that she threw. That's what happens when you starve yourself to diet. Just eat food and stop being so vain.
Oh no.
Hara said one of her favorite quotes was, smiling through the times you're tired and giving your best at work. The day after Goo Hara's death, a lot of idols were on their way to Vietnam for the Asia Artist Awards. A lot of them were seen wearing all black, likely out of respect for Goo Hara.
No kidding.
Idols went on to social media to pay tribute to Hara, and a lot of groups even rescheduled their comebacks and listening parties. One that stood out was an Instagram post of somebody who knew her since she was a child. And it reads, "Our Annie was famous ever since I was in elementary school. I once went to a dance academy with a friend, and when my friend pointed at Annie, Goo Hara, I looked and I saw this pretty and very skinny girl in loose clothing sweating buckets as she danced with all her energy. I couldn't see anybody else in that dance studio but her." Would people know now that young and small child practiced so hard to the point of breaking her body to get where she was? It was later revealed that Goo Hara's diary was found, and I'm assuming with the approval of her family, snippets of her diary were released on JTBC. One diary entry just reads, "It's all right, it's all right, it's all right, Hara, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right." Another one reads, "Hara, it's all right, it doesn't hurt, it's all right." Another one reads, "It's all right, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt, it'll pass, it's all right. God, please forgive me. God, Jesus Father, wise God, please watch over my disappointing self one more time. By your nourishing power, thank you for comforting me. Thank you." She also wrote about how she being sensitive was the cause of her own unhappiness. She felt like she had this
I relate
gaping
to
hole in
that.
her life from not having her mom, but she needs to focus on being more happy in the future. She writes, "What you say, what you think, it comes true and is put into practice. I have to protect myself first, and I know myself very well. But I'm more desperate than anyone, and I want to feel. More than anyone, I can hurt. I guess I deserve to hurt."
Poor girl.
One entry that stands out is Goo Hara writes about being allowed to be loved. She writes, "Is my existence bothersome? Who am I? What should I do? I wonder who I am and if I'm allowed to be loved. Am I someone that can be loved? Do I need to be loved?" There is a comment under the BBC
We all need to
documentary
be
that I think
loved.
sums up most of our feelings about this case. And it reads, "I think really if there is such a thing as hell, we are living in it. The innocent die early and evil men live long lives until they start on walls." Speaking of, small side note, after Goo Hara's death, one of CJ's friends, so her ex-boyfriend that tried to ruin her career by releasing revenge videos of her, his friend posted online, "CJ is having a difficult time ever since the controversy about the assault and the revenge videos. After he heard about Goo Hara's passing, he hasn't been coping well. Everything related to her is a very sensitive situation for him, so the colleagues are deciding not to talk about it. It's difficult for me to tell you anything more." What?
Gosh.
Wow.
In 2020, Seungri pleads guilty and is sentenced to 18 months in prison. Choi gets 2.6 years, JJY is sentenced to 5 years, and by now, they're all free. Choi, the
Gosh.
former friend of Hara's, the one that she was able to convince to give up the name of the police official,
Yeah.
he was part of the band FT Island. He was
Title
one
and
of the
for us,
first
Steph.
released. He's also the one that was filmed at church. Do you remember that in episode 1? When he gets out, reporters find him in the church
Right,
parking lot,
right.
to which his mom starts screaming at the
That's who it
reporters, defending her
was.
son, essentially saying, "God already forgave my baby boy, so who is the world to judge him?"
엄마, 기자분들이 오셨는데 막 인터뷰 하시네?
아니 그걸 왜 물어봐요? 가요. 이렇게 하나는 있어요. 아니면 믿음만에 살려고 왜 그래요?
That guy, he's trying to make a comeback in the industry. He joined FannyCon, a Japanese fan community platform. It appears to have kind of a subscription-based model. So if fans want, they can pay and join a celebrity's channel and get more intimate updates. Kind of like a Patreon, I imagine. And he wrote, "Greetings after 5 years. How are you? I received strength from each and every one of you, and I was able to gather the strength to appear in front of you now. Thank you so much. I hope I can communicate with my fandom here. I want to show you everything about me, including what I want to do with my future and my personal life. I will try to create a bright future with everyone. So please support me. Thank you very much." This man was charged with gang R-wording someone, and he has the backbone to be like, "Please support me. I want to create a bright future." After JJY is released from prison, which side note, his whole 5 years in prison were not bad at all. According to fellow inmates, they said he would receive packages of comic books from loyal fans, and he was generally just having a good time. In 2022, JJY met up with his connections in the music industry to tell them that he still wants a music career. He still wants to be behind the scenes now. He doesn't want to be a singer, but he wants to be a music producer. It's speculated that he's preparing to immigrate abroad and return to music. During the process of editing this video, on July 9th, JJY was spotted in a nightclub in France. He approached a group of women, introduced himself as June, and then asked for their IG handles. Later, there was a friend who was with JJY, and he went around telling all these girls in the club that JJY is a famous singer from South Korea, and he's planning on opening up a Korean restaurant in France. There is a literal video of this man in the club, standing in front of a woman, dancing on her, and he's spotted kissing multiple different making out with multiple different women. He has this whole new backstory where he states he's June from Boston, he's a music composer, and he wants to open up a restaurant in France. So now that all this new information has leaked about him and his little whereabouts, he has gone private on all of his socials, and he's even stated, all I did was ask people to be friends with me, and I'm just so disappointed. So someone who knows June from Boston, aka JJY, stated, yeah, 5 years in prison did absolutely nothing. He is the same, and he has no plans on leaving the music industry.
Nope.
Seungri has been spotted here and there going clubbing. It would later come out that right after he got out of prison, he was trying to call up his friends to see if they wanted to go clubbing with him. One acquaintance who is said to have been close said, he called me after he got out of prison and asked me how I was doing. His voice was calmer, but other than that, it didn't seem like he changed much. Another alleged friend stated, he's living his day-to-day life with a pretty bright attitude. There were talks that Seungri was trying to get back into the clubbing business, and the first rumor was that he was trying to open up a club in Hong Kong. He was spotted socializing in Hong Kong. A few Hong Kong netizens stated that they heard through the grapevine he's permanently living in Hong Kong. It got to the point where the government had to come out and say, we didn't give this guy a visa through our talent acquisition program, but if he's getting a visa through other ways, we wouldn't know. So like the government would know, but they wouldn't release it to us.
I see.
So I guess there's multiple ways to get a visa. You could go and I guess marry someone. You could try to apply for different types of visas. But the one that netizens speculated he had was Hong Kong would invite overseas nationals to live and start businesses in Hong Kong. Then you'd get a long-term visa.
In Hong Kong's like, we did not do that.
Yeah, they're like, please, no. Yeah. The next rumor was that he was going to open up a club in Cambodia where he does have fans that are willing to come to fan meets. I will say from what I can tell, most Cambodians hate him, but there are a select group of people, just like everywhere else, that support him. Yep. He held a fan meet recently where he promised on stage to bring G-Dragon, which ended up going viral and pissing off former Big Bang fans who supported other members because it's just weird. Why are you bringing him into it? It doesn't even seem like they're friendly. He was also promoting Big Bang merchandise, which is very interesting. He also gave this speech on stage in Cambodia, and this speech has somewhat gone viral. He's gripping the mic with all of his strength. He's in a three-piece suit. He looks like an uncle at a wedding. All eyes are on him, and he screams,
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Cambodia to my friend. My friend told me, dude, isn't that the countries are dangerous? You Cambodians are okay? Now I can say to my friend, fuck you all. I said, shut up and try to come here and see what exactly will happen in Cambodia. This the greatest country in Asia.
and he's like puffing out his chest like an angry peacock. I mean, it's just... Okay, taking out the morality of supporting a guy like this, just vibes-wise, this is your man.
I know.
He's getting off on this attention, and he just keeps going. And I said, shut up and come here and see what is happening in Cambodia. This is the greatest country in Asia. People say that he has a Donald Trump accent. Then with the hand holding the mic, he pumps his fist into the air in a victory position, and the crowd goes wild, honestly.
One day, bring the G-Dragon to here.
But a lot of people were really upset at this fan meet that it happened in the first place, but also because, like I said, he's stating that he's going to bring G-Dragon. It just doesn't seem like they like each other. Even when they were seen in the same group, it didn't seem like they liked Seungri. I mean, clips of the group have gone viral. This is back in the day, where on a talk show, one of the members, T.O.P., his fellow bandmate, states, "Oh, Seungri and I are complete opposites." He'll say things like, "Oh, this is how you make money." All he does is talk about money.
어느 순간부터 돈에 대한 포커스가 좀 많아진 것 같아.
T.O.P. continues, "I get very worried as an older member of the group. He has some good friends, but some of his friends, I get glimpses of them at concerts and they worry me. I get the feeling that they're by his side not because they like him, but because they like his title. The fact that Seungri plans to work with them very much worries me."
이렇게 언뜻 이제 공연장에서 이제
And that's the guy
스쳐지면서
who
사람
was in
인상을
Squid Game
보면은
too.
Even
I
on
believe.
stage, there's a clip of Big Bang at a concert, and T.O.P. starts
Thanos.
screaming, "After all, Big Bang is for people forever, forever, forever." The other three members put their hands in, like, you know, those athletic games, and they start chanting forever, forever, as a play on words, as in 1, 2, 3, 4. But Big Bang has 5 members, and the member not in the pile is Seungri.
일단 무대에 내려오면 저희랑 같이 있질 않아요.
아 워낙에 또 이제 일들이 많으셔서
네,
또
일이
사업도
하고 있는 일이
많고 파티도
많아가지고.
많고.
It just seemed that as if in hindsight, the band members were over him. One straight up joked in an interview that Seungri, stop being a scammer or you're going to end up in jail. The way they talk
Wait,
makes...
one person said that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And just the way they talk makes it seem like Seungri just lost all passion for music and just started doing shady businesses on the side. And I'm sure it's making them nervous because if something happens to him, which it did,
Yeah.
Big Bang in its entirety is in
out, too.
jeopardy. So it's not just impacting his life.
Yeah.
It's unclear if Seungri ever was or is still going to open up a club in either Hong Kong or Cambodia. But another allegation starts popping up and going viral. A netizen from China posts on Weibo, so the Chinese Twitter, that she was at a hot pot restaurant. Seungri happened to be sitting next to her with a table full of girls. And the viral post reads, someone had run into Seungri while he was having dinner with a few women. They overheard him telling the woman that he would to the beat of Big Bang's song, Fantastic Baby. It's really insane. Really, like, I wish he would just back to a jail cell. He really is like a fat uncle now. I'm laughing my head off at the conversations he was having with the girls the whole night while eating. Like, literally, he's gonna to the beat of Fantastic Baby. Fantastic Baby was released in 2012. This allegedly took place in 2024. The comments read under that post, "Can they take him back to jail for a lifetime, please?" And another depressing development in this case is, remember Goo Hara's first dating scandal? She was confirmed to have been dating a fellow idol, Jung Joon-young. He was exposed to have received videos in a private chat room with just JJY. And it was stated that he made inappropriate comments about that explicit video. He was forced to withdraw from Highlight and went into his mandatory military enlistment. He was not legally punished, but he was labeled publicly as a bystander that did nothing. He wasn't part of the group chats, but again, like I said, he did receive a video. And he is now dating Hyuna, which is another massive K-pop idol. A lot of her fans are upset with her because, for one,
Wow,
she seemed
engagement
somewhat
announced
close
too.
with Goo Hara. Like, they were all part of the same generation. People believe it's breaking girl code, and it just feels kind of icky. Some fans feel really betrayed by the fact that Hyuna was more of an idol that stood for female empowerment, and now she's dating someone that is very clearly not. One comment on the BBC documentary reads, some said this was released 5 years too late, but I firmly believe this dropped just in time, just when people were about to forgive and forget, just when these criminals were about to enjoy their lives again as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's the right time to
It
be
is the right
reminded of
time.
how hideous this crime was.
I agree.
And like I said, all the men are free. One netizen comment reads, Goo Hara was sexually
of them are
violated,
free, eh?
still helped Burning Sun get exposed, and still ended up dead. The Burning Sun guys are sex offenders, and they get a slap on the wrist, a kiss on their ass, and are living it up. And they still have fans. One supporter tweeted, I still don't need anyone's permission or approval to support Seungri. If I have to, I will go through this journey with him alone. Even if I'm the last one on this planet, and that you keep insulting and threatening me, I'm perfectly fine with it. At least you're not hurting him.
Can't forgive
I
everything.
just want to say he's not going to pick you. I'm sorry. I mean, this is the same guy that has been sentenced to prison for organizing commercial sex services on 29 occasions in the span of 2 months.
Remember, like the first episode we did, he was like dating 2 women back to back.
Yes, and-
taking them out to trips, giving
Yeah.
them the same exact treatment.
Yes.
Back to back.
Back to back.
Like the amount of they are living the best life.
Yeah. And they're not going to choose you. Like, you could go to war for this man in my comments, in my emails, on Twitter, on your little self-published Medium articles, and like, he's not going to even notice you, nor will he give a Honestly, like I feel like there's a better way to spend your time. Yeah. It's kind of sad. The crime that he was charged with does technically fall under sex trafficking. Imagine supporting a sex trafficker. That is
no thanks.
Something. The court documents also stated that he coerced 3 women, most likely his fans, to pose nude for photos in his hotel room that was in China. And he later shared those. But maybe it's this clip that really did it for them. This clip has resurfaced since the BBC documentary. It's Seungri on a reality show called I Live Alone. The clip has gone viral on Twitter with over 7 million views. Mainly people hate watching and trying to understand what's going on. It's an old clip of him. He's crocheting little booties like shoes for his neighbor who just had a child. He's cross-stitching, I think is the more accurate description. And he's listening to Blackpink's Playing with Fire song. He's singing along, very exaggerated. At one point, he's asked by the producers why he's cross-stitching, to which he responds, "My neighbor recently had a baby. I thought I should give her a heartfelt gift. In fact, I used to enjoy cross-stitching when I was a kid. I thought I could reminisce old memories and use my little talent while preparing a homemade gift for her." He starts cross-stitching, dancing, and then he pokes his finger with the needle and immediately drops everything to fall on the floor and overreact, rolling around, screaming, "Ah, ah!" It's very cringe. I feel like my 3-year-old niece could act better than him. Yeah, he tries his hardest to have this cute, naive little boy. But no, he's like a full-grown-ass adult felon.
Yeah.
The clip is so just really secondhand embarrassment. Netizens who agree commented, honestly, he was trying so hard to be this persona on camera, but you can tell it's all BS. It's painfully obvious this was an act. But some comments, even after the fact, so these were posted after Burning Sun gets exposed, they read, "He's just a normal person who lives his life happily. It's just that villains messed him up."
What messed him up?
Villains.
Villains did.
Ma'am. I honestly think Seungri is just a normal guy who got mixed up in the wrong crowd. He is the wrong crowd. Like one sane comment reads, "It's so cringe. It's so evident that he's acting and being all cute for no reason. Sad to see he still has fans, and even those fans support him after everything he did. Shame on them. I hope he rots in hell." To which a netizen responds to them, "What the f***? You judge a person for being cute? What did he do exactly?"
Oh.
I mean... You could look up the court records. They tell you exactly what he did. Meanwhile, reporter Kang, the reporter that worked with Goo Hara and had all the files in the USB to sort through, she said that a ton of women were reaching out to her, nervous. They would call and tell her that they were around the guys around that time and they have gaps in their memory. And they were scared that there were videos of them on there. She could hear anxiety and just panic in their voices. It's crazy that he still has fans, but I think this will tell you why. In 2015, JJY released a song called OMG. This is when Sulli is accused of being a sex addict. The music video that JJY is in starts with him waking up in a bed full of women in lingerie. He tries to wake up one of them, but she's passed out to the point where it's like, I don't know if she's just hungover on alcohol. Then we get a flashback. It's a sequence of the night before and how he ends up here, mixed in with JJY the next morning, walking around the house, seeing this disaster from the house party. There's unconscious people laying around everywhere, and he starts messing with their bodies, trying to see if they'll wake up. Which, considering he date R-word drugged women, essayed them while recording it, it's kind of wild that he felt confident enough to base a music video basically on what he does in real life. We get flashbacks to the night before where he's walking through a club filled with women in lingerie. At the end, he's fighting a guy in a wolf mask with a lightsaber, but at one point it looks like he hallucinates into seeing a real wolf, almost insinuating that he's like on drugs. Yeah. The whole thing is weird, but it ends with him having a foursome in the bed and then waking up with the girls passed out. Some netizen comments read, "I feel like he invented the word foreshadowing. This is vlog. When you decided to take based on a true story very seriously." But again, this is all hindsight. When the video first came out, everybody loved it. JJY was getting praise, and if anyone critiqued how sexual and weird it was, everyone said, it's his art. That's how he expresses himself. It's his career. It's a literal music video. But now, netizens are comparing it to a movie Sulli did around the same time. Sulli worked on a movie called Real. It's an action noir film. She had this scene where she's topless. First of all, who cares? Second of all, it's for a film. Just like it could be argued that all the scandalous racy scenes in JJY's music video are for his art, for his work. Same with Sulli. Where is the difference? But the comments under articles about her new film, they read, "She's already running around exposing her nipples. Not like this is a big deal to her anyway. I can already tell by the stuff she shares on her social media that she wouldn't use a body double. I really don't understand at all why SM Entertainment still has her under them. She's pretty, I'll admit that, but her body's whatever and her personality is just hopeless. She exposes her top half on her own without much prompting anyway. Feels like we've already seen it all. But more than that, she had a scene in the movie where her character does drugs. In South Korea, drug usage is considered one of the worst things you could ever do. It's probably worse than essaying people. Honestly, that's how they see it in the law, okay? They take it very seriously. Sulli had zero experience with drugs. So in this attempt to figure out what it would look like, how she was supposed to act, she starts watching 5 movies a day where the main character does drugs. Her friends asked her, why are you doing that? And she said, I don't know what that...
I still don't get why alcohol is not considered a drug. It's the biggest poison out there. It's the thing that leads to the most destruction. It kills the most people. It makes people not think about the short term at all. It actually only makes people think about the short term, actually, what am I saying, and not care about any of the consequences for the short term, though. That's always what confused me when drinking it. It's the thing that people maybe don't like, that it's actually a drug, but it completely is, y'all. That's if weed is a drug, alcohol's a drug.
looks like, so I just really want to do a good job on this because it makes sense considering she left FX to pursue acting. She has a lot of pressure. It's clear, like she needs to do well. But netizens thought she acted too well. They argued that only a real drug user would behave like that. From then on, the title of being a drug user starts following Sulli, and everything she does is just further confirmation that she's a drug user. She talks a little bit slower compared to others. I don't even think that she talks slow. They say she's on drugs. They would take pictures of her pupils, compare them to other drug users, and it seems like she does naturally have bigger pupils because a lot of people were showing pictures of her where she's clearly not on drugs, like during interviews, and her pupils seem enlarged, like bigger than most people. But they're taking that as evidence that she's doing drugs and putting them side by side with drug users' pupils. It was a lot. So when JJY does it, it's his craft, it's his art, it's his expression of creativity. But when Sulli does it, she's a drug addict and a slut for showing her breast. One netizen comment focuses on the double standard in the industry. And this is present not just in the K-pop world, but Hollywood, Bollywood, everywhere. The comment reads, men could tie the industry's grandma to the town square pole, and the industry itself would hand the men tomatoes to throw. Women, they breathe wrong, and the industry will shit them out in the shower and stomp on them down the drain. Even after the Burning Sun case, there were protests of women in South Korea holding up signs. For women, everywhere we go feels like the club Burning Sun. But a lot of men stepped in to say that this was truly unfair, that the men felt like they were being unfairly targeted by criminals.
What?
They're like calling women criminals. Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. It's in the US too. You bring it up and then it's, what about the women that lie and ruin men's lives about essay? So that was what was happening here afterwards. Another friend of Seungri said, if Seungri's Kakao messages are a crime, then aren't all Korean men criminals?
What?
Yeah. A former employee of Burning Sun said, there is no difference between Burning Sun and the current clubs that are open. What happened back then is still happening now. There are lots of coverage about GHP. They are still using it in my club that I'm currently working at. So he moved to a different club. And after Hara's death, unfortunately, a lot of things start taking place. The situation with her ex-boyfriend CJ continues. Even after her passing, her house gets burglarized after her death, and the strangest thing takes place at her funeral. So let's start with CJ, the ex-boyfriend. The first trial for CJ was obviously a mess. Some would even go as far to call it a disgrace. He was given no jail time, and it was not even acknowledged that he committed heinous crimes with the videos of Goo Hara. Hara's brother stated at that point, even now, we can't understand how he was acquitted during the first trial for filming her secretly, and how he was able to return to society. After the first sentencing, both sides appealed the sentence. The prosecutors appealed and Goo Hara's family appealed. They did not believe this was an appropriate sentence. It was way too light. The defense, CJ, and his attorneys appealed, which I always think is wild when criminals get away with the lowest sentence manageable and they still try to appeal. Like, read the room. Everyone is pissed at your sentence. You got incredibly lucky because the justice system favors you. Shut up and go away.
No kidding.
But he files for an appeal because he does not agree with the ruling. The appeal is reviewed in 2020, and this is after her passing. The second court stated, threatening to disseminate a video of sexual intercourse causes irreparable harm to the victim and can seriously damage her honor. The victim is a well-known celebrity, and the defendant took advantage of the great harm that would cause and threatened to go through it with the media. The court basically told CJ, you know what? I think you were right. The first trial wasn't good. So we fixed it for you.
Give him more?
We're going to give you a year in prison to be served immediately. Soon after that, Goo Hara's brother and father sue CJ, and the courts ruled that CJ will pay the family $60,000. And maybe CJ feels like he's got to make some money now, since he has to pay restitution. CJ starts suing people while he's in prison. He starts suing netizens for defaming his character. He ends up suing 6 netizens, and like not even news networks, not even influencers, just straight up random netizens. They didn't even write a blog post about him. They were just in the comment section. He claimed in the courts that these netizens made insulting comments about his trial in an article. The comments hurt his feelings, basically. He sued 6 different netizens, and only one was charged and had to pay him $265. Then there was the situation with the safe. The safe is...
Could you imagine the nasty comments that Stephanie and her husband get in the emails? You could see even that was leaked. Like, no wonder she has a very strong mental support. She has actual physical support in her husband and hopefully her other family members too and friends. And when you're doing stuff like this and talking about this taboo type of instances, a lot of people who want to deny reality and or want their own suspicious things hidden in the closet to stay there, they want to make sure people like Rotten Mango aren't doing things like this, and harassing is a form of doing it. So it's interesting to know that Korea has a way that even the comments can get used against you in a court of law. So if that ever happens worldwide, I better be smarter at what I type for replies, and I think everyone else should be a lot smarter, and we should just be a lot more kinder to each other, like Goo Hara has said herself.
Currently making its rounds on the internet again. But this happened January 2020, so a little over a month after Hara's death. Someone broke into her home and stole her safe. There's a few reasons that everyone's still talking about this, but especially now with her connection to Burning Sun. First of all, the burglar was caught on CCTV camera, masked up with a hat and gloves, but they're still caught trying to get into Goo Hara's place. Now get this, the thief tries the front door, puts in a passcode, does not get access because Hara's brother had changed her code.
But it was the correct code.
Yes, before.
So it's a friend or someone that knows it. Yeah.
The thief then starts looking for another way in, scales the wall, and enters through the second floor balcony. Side note, another suspicious detail is this happened 49 days after her passing, so her family were paying their respects, as with Buddhist tradition. The 49th day of someone's death is a time to say goodbye again.
So on that exact day, the families are busy.
Yes.
And someone broke in.
Wow.
Nothing else in the house was touched, rummaged through, or taken. She had designer bags in her closet. She had jewelry. None of that was touched. Her safe was taken.
How big? Was it a big safe?
60 pounds.
They hauled a 60-pound safe out?
Yes.
Bare hand?
Yeah.
How?
60 pounds? You can still lift
60 pounds?
Yeah. Okay, maybe like more like 50, but it was 50 to 60 pounds.
What?
Yeah. And she was known to put some jewelry, investment documents, and some old phones of hers in there. So let's work through this. If the thief wanted her jewelry that's in there, it's clear that they would want money, right? Why didn't they take any other valuables in the house? She had other jewelry laying around. She had designer bags laying around. None of that was even touched. Okay, do they want her investment documents? That would be very difficult to do anything with those without being caught. It's not like anyone can easily transfer her investments into their name, especially add the fact that she's a very public figure and her death was very, very public. Yeah. Then the third thing that we know is in her safe are her old phones.
Interesting.
What would anyone want to gain from getting her old phones? Maybe there was something she had on there that someone didn't want everyone to see.
Yeah, you think?
So there are speculations now with her connection to Burning Sun that she might have more evidence on there. And someone associated with Burning Sun is the allegation, had someone go in and steal that safe.
Wow.
Again, this is all speculation because the thief has still yet to be identified.
Hasn't been identified.
All we know is that the thief is a man, slim build, about 5'11", wears glasses, and appears to be in his 20s or 30s. Wow. I will say there are a lot of allegations of who this thief could be, including another celebrity, but I think it is kind of crazy to be pointing fingers without a little more evidence because I just feel like, what if it's not? Like the damage it would do if it's not is crazy.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So but it's someone that's fit enough to carry a safe that big, though. To make the situation even messier after her death, reports start coming out about a strange woman at her funeral. They stated that at Goo Hara's funeral, there was an oddly smiley woman there that kept asking other celebrities for photos at her funeral. Like, oh, can I take a selfie with you? She would go up to celebrities, shake their hands and say, I saw you on TV. Can we take a photo? People were confused. A lot of Goo Hara's friends, who also happened to be famous, were very uncomfortable. And not only that, the lady requesting photos with the idols, she had a lot of makeup on, almost like she got her makeup done for this event. And she was just smiling in a way that was not fitting for a funeral. It was bright smiling. It wasn't even smiling because you're trying to remember that person in this loving, happy way. All of this was made even more uncomfortable by the fact that that strange lady is Goo Hara's mom. Hara barely knew this woman. The only memory that she has of her mom is that that's her biological mom, and the fact that she used to use Hara, her own daughter, that's only in kindergarten at this point, to make excuses to go cheat on her husband.
Jeez.
Yeah. Goo Hara's real family only consists of her dad and her older brother. Her brother would say about their mom, when I was 11 and Hara was 9, she left us. She just disappeared. She just left without even saying goodbye. The same day, Hara's older brother found their dad unconscious and foaming at the mouth after swallowing handfuls of sleeping pills.
No.
He said, I remember that day my mother left home. I was so young, so I wasn't sure why she left. My father asked my sister and me in an odd kind of way, is there anything else you want to have? That night, he attempted to self-exit. He said, my sister and I watched together as my father was put in an ambulance. To my sister Hara, who was only in 2nd grade at the time, our mother's sudden absence and my father's pain must have caused her sadness. It was a huge thing for them. Thankfully, their father survived, but it was always a wound that they would have. Side note, they were pretty much completely estranged from their mother, but in 2017, Goo Hara does reach out one time. Goo Hara regrets this meeting. I mean, she said it was very foreign and strange. The energy was just off, which turned out to be true. There were allegations that Goo Hara's mom was mainly interested in being able to brag that she was Goo Hara's mom. Their very first meeting after so long, Goo Hara just wanted to meet her, talk to her, get a hug, get some closure. But her mom shows up with her relatives' kids that were all fans of Goo Hara, her friends' children that are all friends of Goo Hara. She made some sad excuse on why she never reached out. And the worst part of all of this is for the 20 years of not seeing her mom, Goo Hara found out that she only lived 10 minutes away.
No.
And she was going around telling all of her friends that she was Goo Hara's mom. She kept tabs on everything Goo Hara was doing so that she could brag to her friends about it.
Wow, that is so sick and twisted.
So sad.
Yeah, it's bad. So why now? Why is she suddenly at Goo Hara's funeral, dressed in black, acting like this heartbroken mom who was always in her life and just is so devastated? Also,
I thought she's very happy.
Yeah, like she would go through emotions where she acts sad and she's like, no, I need to be the person that stands next to her casket and gets all the bows from people because you have to bow to the family. And then she would go back to like, can we take a selfie? And then she would like cry. And then can we take a selfie? Also, why did she come with lawyers? She showed up to the funeral with lawyers. Goo Hara's brother and father would soon find out that she was there to go after Goo Hara's inheritance. Wow. It's unclear exactly how much Goo Hara was worth, but she had a building that was worth 2.3 million. She had another apartment that was worth 900,000. That's just her real estate profile. There could be a lot of other assets we don't know about. That's what she's after. After her death, there would be this whole legal battle between brother and father and then mom, which, by the way, she had a chance. Under Korean law, if someone does not have a will or children or is unmarried, their inheritance goes to their parents. There's no stipulation that the parents have to have been a part of the child's life to get the inheritance. Just by being the parent on the birth certificate is enough. Goo Hara's brother would reiterate, just because someone gave birth to you doesn't mean they're a parent. A person who abandoned us and even gave up her parental rights is trying to take away assets earned through Hara's hard work. And that just means our laws are unjust.
Yep.
This prompted the brother to start a petition for an act to be introduced into law to protect the assets of children that are abandoned or abused by their parents.
Wow.
After almost 5 years, the act would be passed, the Goo Hara Act.
That's amazing.
Goo Hara's brother is using the inheritance to set up a foundation to help single parents.
Incredible.
The last messages that he's ever sent his sister were, I'm begging you, please don't have any negative thoughts. Don't get sick, take care of your health, and sometime in the future, I hope you get married, have children, and live for a very long time. When you're sad, just cry it out. I know it's hard to let it out, but I love you, little sister. She responds, I love you, Oppa. Don't worry. You must be so sad. My heart aches like crazy too. Eat something delicious in Japan. I'll bring some delicious food tomorrow. Okay. He was gonna go over the weekend that she died. She told him no, she wanted to go to a party. She didn't ever go to a party. Hara, before her death, kept encouraging her brother and sister-in-law to have kids, so much so that she even paid for their doctor's visit so that they could try to conceive. After Hara's funeral, her brother came home. He was a mess at this point, and his wife was in tears, and she told him that she was pregnant. He said, I cried so much then. I was so sad. If she had just waited a few days, if she hadn't made that choice, she would have been an aunt. August 10th, 2020, Goo Hara's niece, Goo Harin, was born. Hara's brother would say, she reminds me so much of my little sister, and it makes me cry. Our Hara always talked about wanting a niece and even bought us nutritional supplements, so we decided to name her after the name that she thought was the prettiest. As for Goo Hara's dad, he said, she used to go to Japan for promotions a lot, so now I often try to think, my daughter is in Japan. She's in Japan right now, alive and working. It helps me find comfort in some ways. And that is the case of The Burning Sun, the hopefully final episode. And what are your thoughts? I just think it's crazy, the juxtaposition of the timelines of what the girls are getting cyberbullied for and all their quote scandals and controversies and how everybody turns on them. And then these guys are doing some of the most heinous crimes imaginable, and they still to this day have fans. They have supporters. What are your thoughts?
Learn to move on when your idols
Let me know in the
show their
comments.
true
And
colors.
please stay safe. I will see you guys in the next one.
I'm really sensitive to parents leaving. My dad, when I was 3 months, split up with my mom, and so I kind of lost my dad very, very young. And luckily, I can still see him and all those things. And I can't imagine the pain that Tohara was going through there, and everyone else who is going through this stuff, and how big it really is around the world, how double standard all these industries are, how the love of money is the root of all evil. It's what you can get with money. It's the depravity that you can accentuate with, and it's those bad thoughts that you can actually act on when you have money and the ability to have connections to get it done. And that's, as you know, that's why something as big as this P Diddy trial thing going on in the atmosphere right now, it's a lot bigger than just say P Diddy. And seeing these things in Korea, for me coming from North America, it makes it know how much more worldwide this is. And it's so sad, like hearing all of her prayers, and just how having your mom just leave you. I would never know, like, your mom's supposed to be the one that loves you so much. And I know um what Alana, my wife, has gone through, even with her parents, just to keep it like that, and what struggle she now has because of that. So that became really personal. While at first it was incredible to see how big the Burning Sun scandal really is, then to get a personalized thing with that, to get all tied up, and to see why they ended up self-exiting, that's really sad. You also, if you are going through that stuff, there are hotlines out there that can help you. Hopefully you have some friends and families with support. There's also a lot of times there's offers out there, if you look through the right sources, that can even get you someone to talk to for free for even a few sessions, just to get the ball rolling, and then you can see if that's all you needed. Because sometimes it only takes an hour to really have someone listening to you correctly to get it out. Not everyone's built for listening correctly, and that's what this was teaching me, at least, is how to help people correctly. And how to read a room and to sense people's somberness and vulnerability, and to really just be in tuned and to keep your heads up and out of the screens that there really are. Even though I appreciate y'all for watching this with me on the screen, it's really when you're with someone, try to be there for them, because not everyone's amazing at opening up. So sometimes you just got to read people's face and eyes and all that. And wow, I can't believe this is done. So definitely, if you had a good time with me and you want to see more, hit the like button, comment down below what your experience was with this Burning Sun scandal yourself, if you were aware of it when it first happened, or if you had to see it through Rotten Mango as well. Subscribe if you are new, want to become a Chronican and see more Rotten Mango reactions and much more on the channel. We have almost, I think, over 2.5 thousand videos on this channel now. So we got a lot of things that you can check out. And definitely stay tuned for the Rotten Mangoes P. Diddy trial reactions that it will be coming out very soon. I'm going to catch up and probably put out a couple big ones to finally catch up and try to keep it on point. So you could watch hers one day and my reaction the other day. Hers one day, mine the other day. Hopefully it works like that. And I thank you all for the love and support again. We are now exiting the rabbit hole, folks. Peace and love. God bless y'all.